Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United, and welcome to a very special spooky stream where we're going to be talking about Halloween and spooky comics. And I'm joined by four very special guests. I think you will probably know these fine folks, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody. First off, we have my good friend Martin. Martin the Collector. How are you doing tonight, Martin?
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm glad to be back, and I finally got a tweeter.
That's right. And I believe I included your Twitter in the description box, and I've got everybody's YouTube channels in the description box as well.
Nice.
So if you are watching this or, listening in the future, definitely check out the description box. I've got everyone's YouTube channels or Twitter on there. So next up, we have Captain Frugal. I'm really glad to have you here, man. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Ah, absolutely. I've watched your channel from time to time over a year now. So in some ways, it feels like you've been on a stream with me before, but you haven't yet. So I'm really glad to have you here for the first time.
Well, I'm glad to be in that situation as well. The more people that have me, the happier I am. Of course, none of you ever want me back, but that's a different.
Nah, I highly doubt that. So I know you're a family man. Have you got any special plans for Halloween?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We usually take the kids to a small town that we don't live in this small town, but some of my relatives do. So we take them to that small town and do the trick or treat thing, and then usually take them to a small little dinner or something, fast food or something like that to cap off the night. Give them some ice cream and call it a night.
Oh, nice. That sounds cool. All right. So again, we have Tristan Nerdette joining us. How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, great. It's always nice to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Oh, absolutely. And I know you've got your Nerdette newsstand YouTube channel.
Yep, I got that one up and running in my third channel that I still mess with, Nerd and Nerdette's Anonymous. But as far as comics go, I've been doing my Nerdette's newsstand.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You usually cover the new comics sometimes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
So we have cool. How you doing, man? We have a special guest joining us as well, Starcraft. How are you today?
Not too bad. You could just call me Robert.
Robert? Okay. Nice. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Awesome. Well, glad you could be here.
Yep.
Cool. We're just doing
our Skeletor from the movie He-Man by any chance? Or?
Yeah, that's exactly what I went with.
Okay.
I love that version of Skeletor. Best version, period, aside from the recent DC Comics version.
Yeah, I do like those Masters of the Universe, Justice League crossovers.
Yep. And even Tim Seeley was the Injustice one. I mean, granted, his little bit about that taking pot shots at Trump aside, it was still, if you know what it is, you saw it, but then it moved on. They didn't dwell on it.
Yeah, and I generally like Tim Seeley.
Yeah.
Just in general, I like his stuff.
Agreed.
So,
I mean, hack and slash or hack slash.
Oh yeah, right. What is that? That's on Dynamite, right?
Dynamite, Wildstorm. He's taking it all over.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it's on Dynamite now.
I think so.
We're doing introductions. So Unranked Chevron joining us again. How are you doing today?
Doing good. I've got my totally straight and non-basic pumpkin ale beer here, so I'm feeling pretty Halloween-y, if that's even a word. But
oh, it's definitely a word. We're gonna make it a word if it's not. We should have called it the Halloweeny stream instead of the spooky.
If I knew Unranked Chevron was going to be on this, I wouldn't have done this. Just so you know, he cheated me in that debate.
He cheated you, but
he won fair and square.
What debate was this?
This was Englenteen's comic book Thunderdome series that he had.
Oh yeah.
He won fair and square. He paid off enough judges. It was okay.
I just cheated
man.
better than you did. You can't fault me for that.
No, you did good, and you did good in the later rounds too. Heads up. Good job, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you guys had history.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dark and evil.
Sounds like it. Well, Dark and Evil is perfect for the spooky stream. That's some deep lore. I'm going to have to go back and watch some Engelteen, find that video. I do remember, though, when he was doing that, the Thunderdome thing, it was like, two people debating.
Yeah. It was,
who all did he have? He had quite a few.
Yeah, he had most of the mid-range people in this whole, Comicsgate thing.
Hey, I was in it too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I had to do one during a emergency one. It was me, and I forgot who the other person was. I lost.
Yeah, it happens to almost everyone. Didn't happen to me, but almost everyone.
Although I did come close. In fact, I was dominating at first until the last little bit, and I just crashed and burned.
Well, who won the whole thing again?
It was me.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You paid up the judge.
Wow. The grand champion. That's
good.
Great.
Yeah, he fought it out good and hard. Hats off to him, man. He did great.
Well, we've had Unranked has been on here a few times, and I always enjoy him as a guest. I think he's really thoughtful, got some good points. His reviews are good too. I always come back to that Sandman review he did. Thought it was real good. And weren't you doing, what was it, Justice League Dark recently?
That was one I did a while ago. Yeah, my output for videos has slowed considerably in the last couple of months because I don't know. It's just it's harder to talk about the stuff with all the political things that are happening on Twitter. But then again, it occurs to me a lot of people on YouTube probably really don't care about stuff like that. But I don't know
about what, the politics.
Well, the politics within this, this whole comics thing. And the the different groups and stuff, and people sniping at each other and that sort of thing. But
I like your reviews. I say keep at it, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
Honestly, my favorite videos of yours are those, the regular reviews.
Okay. Well, there's reason enough to keep going then.
Yeah. I mean, I watch them. So, anyways, one thing too, I kind of was thinking about, there's a lot of different spooky characters in comics that aren't necessarily specifically Halloween related. So I was thinking if you guys had one DC character, ideally, or just a comic character that is like spooky or Halloween, related, that you would like what's your favorite one? So I was just kind of thinking I'd ask everyone what theirs is. So an example to start off with, my choice is going to be Solomon Grundy. So he seemed like a pretty good choice. He isn't specifically Halloween related, but undead zombie guy. It's pretty
Solomon
awesome.
Grundy, born on a Monday.
Yeah, this guy gets it.
You want fairy tale? Yeah.
What is this? What is the Tuesday?
Christian. I think it was Christian on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I used to know the whole thing. I actually did a whole video about him too. It's been a while, but yeah. So, Robert, then, since you were talking, what would be a character for you?
I think the obvious would have to be Scarecrow, mostly because of all the scariness he's done and the fear factor. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the obvious one. But as far as a not so obvious one, I'd have to go with, as far as with sticking with DC, probably, who's that one guy? The guy who can never, Mr. Death, I think his name is. Not Mr. Death. The guy who's kind of recently been like a skeleton, but he keeps on not dying. Morrison used him a little bit, and then Tim Seeley used him at the end of Talon.
Deadman, or no?
Deadman. No, not Deadman. No. Was it? No, Deadman is the guy who possesses people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, I think, Deathman. Or Lord Deathman, I think. Yeah, Lord Deathman is what I'm thinking of.
That's a new one. Never heard of him.
Yeah, I think he's actually based off from one of the one of those manga stories, I think.
There is a. I do know a somewhat.
Hold on.
Oh, now I know who he's talking about. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like at some point the Japanese got the license to do a Batman manga, and
Yep.
they did one about, I think you're right, I think his name is Mr. Deathman or something like that.
Oh
Something
wait,
really
no, I was
weird.
wrong. He actually was from Batman 180 in 1966. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I guess they redid him then later.
Yeah.
But I would
'cause
say that guy just because of the skeleton and he can't seem to ever die. He's one of those immortals in DC.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
And then
I wouldn't have
Batman,
thought.
he's basically sent him into a satellite with a chamber in it that was going to orbit Earth forever. And it's like one of the most sadistic things Batman's ever done.
Yeah, that is pretty mean.
It's like, oh, you can't die, so you'll just keep suffocating over and over again in space.
Wow, that's dark.
Yeah.
Well, then Ra's al Ghul later buried him in cement.
Pretty messed up too. Jeez.
Just gets worse and worse, huh? So, Frugal, if you got a pick.
Sure. How would we go to, since we're on DC, we'll go back to Jack Kirby creations. We'll go with that demon from hell. The one that has violent tendencies, but yet still ends up being a good guy, Etrigan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta say it. Gone, the former man. Right, the demon, Etrigan.
That's exactly right. That's a great pick.
Who was it?
He? Oh, go ahead.
Well, who was it that started the rhyming thing? Because Kirby didn't.
I think that was Moore.
Alan Moore and Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I know, because that's why I remember. Then they later had to be that's like a title if someone's able, if they're a rhyming demon, that's a higher status or something.
Yeah, that there's only a handful of demons in hell, and each of them try to use a different meter to distinguish themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Alan Moore during Swamp Thing.
I didn't know if he still.
I didn't know that either.
Yep. I just did a quick wiki search. Yeah, Swamp Thing, Saga of the Swamp Thing number 26.
Okay.
I think the later writers then went a little overboard with it. Although I do always love it when he's in this rhyming scheme, and like in the, I can't believe it's not the Justice League, when he did something that didn't rhyme, Bilubio said, "Hey, wait a minute, that doesn't rhyme. So sue me."
That's a good one, Etrigan. I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah. Wasn't he just doing something recently in Rebirth? I thought I saw him. Anybody know?
He was in that Comics Cavalcade.
That's right. It was probably your review of that where I saw him. I was like, oh, I hadn't seen Etrigan in forever.
Yep.
There was also a mini-series, but I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, there's a lot to keep up with. So, Martin, which character would you like to pick?
Well, they already mentioned Swamp Thing, which is my favorite from Vertigo. But I
Swamp
would
Thing.
also pick the legendary Hellblazer, of course. Deals with like all the occult magic and demons, angels, and so forth.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, who else is gonna? Classic Halloween thing.
You have a pretty good.
Remember the story where he well, not quite debuted, but the Swamp Thing story where he started making more of an appearance, and it was a cult of South African male witches, and they had like a main sort of assassin character, and that guy actually was really creepy. The way they did it was that when the baby was born, they would do a whole bunch of horrible things to the baby so that basically his head was 180 degrees backwards, and one of his arms was backwards and the other arm wasn't. And then they trained this baby to basically be incredibly strong and powerful so that it could kill people, and just because it was so like horrifying looking, it would really mess with people basically. And I remember reading that. It's kind of hard to do horror in comics, and that actually genuinely creeped me out.
Yeah. That sounds pretty horrifying.
I don't know if there's any pictures of it on the interwebs or anything, but
I hope not.
Yeah. I haven't read my I'm buying all of the Hellblazer, like the newer trade paperback collections. I think I stopped like at issue 12, but there's a lot of fucked up stuff that happens. Well, many messed up things happen, in the Vertigo.
yeah, yeah. They just because they are given license to do everything, and they make
Yeah.
the most of it.
Yeah, that's why it was strange. I thought Batman Damned gotten so much hot water because DC's done crazy stuff before, really crazier stuff, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's still pretty much messed up, man, that they want to edit all of that work. I think it's dumb as hell, but whatever.
Yeah, was it Lee Bramo? That art's no joke. He does amazing work.
Yeah. Bermejo.
The interesting sorry. I was just gonna say, what's the interesting thing with him, I've noticed, is if you look at some of his earlier work, you really can't tell, mostly because of the coloring is, well, he does his own coloring lately. But if you look at his older work, like one of the books I'm going to probably bring up if we get to that discussion, it looks different.
Interesting. So did Nerdette, did you get to pick a character?
No, I did not.
Oh man.
Since everyone took, when you asked that question, I had 3 in mind, and literally all got stolen. So, Zaz probably.
Who? Sorry.
Victor Zaz.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah, creepy in that kind of believable way.
Creepy in that kind of just off the wall, murderous, just a disgusting human being. Period. Yeah. So that wasn't. I was actually gonna pick Scarecrow, but Zaz is good. It's okay. Zaz is more believable and just a little bit sicker too.
Do you watch the Gotham television program that has him
I
on
do religiously.
Okay.
kind of funny you mentioned that because it reminds me of another 90s Batman villain, Cornelius Sturch, I think his name was. He was this cannibal guy who eats people and then somehow has this hallucinogenic visions or, again, hallucinations that he just projects. That guy always freaks me out, but you don't see much of him.
No, but you see Zaz still. I mean, and even like he said, it was put into the show. I forget the guy's name, but I mean, he does a really good job of portraying him. So, and even like in Injustice, the second one where Damian just slits his throat. It's real. I like him. I think he's a good character.
And don't forget the Arkhamverse.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with the phone calls.
Yeah.
I had to think for a second.
That always creeped me out, just hearing that voice of his.
I know. Plus,
the voice acting in that game was great.
The voice actor?
Yeah, the voice acting in all the games too, and they had him in
Oh
it.
yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, then you have like 120 seconds and you had to get to the next place, and yeah. That was well done. I just think he's a good character.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just checking out the chat. I'd been neglecting the chat. We have some good people in the chat. That's awesome. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Got some shout outs for people's favorite characters. Lucifer, that's pretty good. Halloween choice. Awesome.
Ooh,
Cool.
Dr. Destiny, that guy's always creepy.
Oh yeah. He really is. What was he in? The Lightning Saga, and he kidnapped Stream Girl. That was some yeah, for a brief bit, but that was some like edge of my seat stuff. I was like, oh no, this is the most horrible thing ever. But Starman and Batman and I think Black Lightning Rescuer. But yeah, you're right. He is very creepy. There's a lot of good creepy characters, and you're talking about Batman villains. A lot of those are really creepy.
Yep.
Like, yeah. So there's a lot of good ones. Mostly villains, though, which I guess makes sense. Let's see. I think we brought up all the main ones. I was thinking Necron too.
Oh, okay.
Or Necron, Lord of the Unliving.
Yeah, doesn't get more spooky than that.
I gotta say, I was actually impressed how they were able to, through him, explain why the first Lancer Volsum came back in Green Lanterns. Basically, oh yeah, I killed you, but you can't really die. And it's like for Necron to say that, that means either they're pulling it out of their butt, or it really means, wow, he really is that dangerous.
Yeah, Necron's definitely one of the most powerful, I think. Probably in the top 4 or 5.
Well, he's deaths. Well, one of the deaths.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a soul to be judged, so like the Spectre can't mess with him. He can't even touch him, actually.
Yeah.
Can't mess with him that way. But yeah, I was just thinking he'd be a good one. And then like the Black Lanterns in general, the zombified versions of everybody. Like
oh geez, Black Lanterns versus the Marvel Zombies. How would that go?
Gosh, I don't know enough about Marvel. What do you think, Frugal?
I'd have to give it to the Black Lanterns. I mean, really, how powerful are the Marvel Zombies,
They're the ones who make Galactus pretty dang.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's because of what makes zombies threat is massive numbers.
True.
And so with the power rings, they should be able to contain them, I would assume.
Well, you gotta remember this though. The Black Lanterns do not do the traditional constructs unless it's associated with what the person was capable of doing already. So it's not like the traditional rings where it does it willy-nilly. Again, unless it's like, say, Scarf and the not Scarface, the ventriloquist, he will conjure up a Black Lantern Scarface and maybe a gun and bullets, but it won't go beyond that.
You do have a valid point there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heroes. One of the DC heroes that got zombified was Superman.
Earth 2 Superman. Right?
Yes.
I think
I was going to bring that up. Was it?
Yeah, because it was
the older version.
But
Necron,
all in all, it wouldn't matter anyway because Ash would be there and he'd kill them all.
He's got like the top half of his head missing, though.
No, that was the Ash from that particular universe, not the Ash from Army of Darkness. So in other words, it was an Ash that was right on the cusp of being the chosen one, but Howard killed him.
That's right. Nice to see another person know his Ash. I know that sounds bad, doesn't it?
I see you too are a man of culture, right?
Every day I had to get to take. I almost said something else to take out my comic knowledge.
Well, Necron could do a thing where he would make it so that anybody that had previously died and come back to life was also turned into a Black Lantern eventually.
But only if he had let them come back was that allowed. That was everyone after Barry, but before, up until that point.
Yeah,
sure.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What I thought was
that's
really
most of the Justice League versus the Marvel Universe, which I feel like the Justice League's going to win that.
Especially at the time, because like Martian Manhunter was dead and Aquaman was dead, Superman, even Wonder Woman gets turned over for a little while.
Yep, but with Martian Manhunter, it still has one of my favorite moments, and it wasn't even in the main mini, it was in Green Lanterns. He's lifting up a building saying, "I'm as strong as Superman. Why does everybody keep forgetting that?"
Because he's too OP if he's as strong as Superman, because then he's got more powers than Superman too, right?
Except he has a more common weakness in fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But even that got kind of, not nerfed, but lessened during the Ostrander run.
When did they, does that go back to his origin, or when did they add the fire thing? Because
I'm not sure.
I was just reading a comic from the 60s where he was in it, and there was a monster literally made of fire, and it was just like, he didn't say anything. I mean, he changed form. I mean, he was in a different form, so maybe that made the difference, but I don't know. I was just curious about that.
You remember his sidekick?
Yeah, Zook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For him showing up during Superman Batman. It's like, wait, who's this freako?
Oh, the Snyder cut though. Imagine if they had Zook or like Batmite or something for a little levity. That would have been such, that would have been $1 billion movie. All right. So, any other characters? I was thinking too, Lady Xanadu, maybe.
Madam Xanadu.
Yeah, Madam Xanadu.
I feel like the Spectre is underrated because, like, he is basically a serial killer, but he's hypothetically on the side of good. But he's done some really messed up things to people over the years.
May have Jones been anyone?
Yeah, where he finally went crazy because of Eclipse.
Oh, that's because he didn't have a host.
Yeah, so the Spectre entity is certainly nothing to trifle with.
I'd also add in Eclipso.
Oh, sure. Eclipso's a good one.
Especially whenever he starts spreading himself around and taking control. I think that's even more dangerous than the Black Lantern in many regards because he's completely controlling the heroes and they have all the powers at his command.
Yeah. There's been multiple Eclipsos too, right?
Multiple hosts for the Eclipso Diamond, yes.
Sure.
Oh, and yep. This out. It's technically thanks to Eclipso that in-universe Grant Morrison got killed.
Really?
The one that was in Animal Man. Keith Gibbon brought him in there, and he's there typing away at his keyboard. He gets writer's block. I am not making that up. Although he just went by the name of the writer. But everyone who knew it knew who he was.
Now, if you're the writer and you kill yourself in the comic book, did you commit suicide or?
No. Giffen did that to Morrison's character.
Okay.
In other words, Giffen just murdered Morrison. Why did we get a Black Lantern Grant Morrison?
You think that would be a fun little pun to have writers killing off each other in comic books?
The artist draws them in.
It would happen a lot, you would think.
Yeah.
Well, if they pissed him off, probably.
I mean, it'd be something fun just to do. Like, Spider-Man fails or something to save Dan Slott and he splatters all over the pavement. And then the next writer gives a little jab at the next one. Just, for something fun to do. Just in the back, no mean intent. Just, I killed you, dude.
That's how Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe ended. Then with him walking into the offices of the Marvel writers.
Except the very follow-up, Illustrated revealed, nope, they just sent him back in.
Well, yeah, but that one sucked, so it doesn't count.
Hey, I like the whole trilogy.
Is my screen share working? Are you able to see what I'm looking at?
Nope.
Nope.
No, right
nope.
now.
Okay. I'll have to try something. We were talking. Oh, here we go. Because we were talking about the Spectre being kind of a horror character too.
Oh, that's short. Anyone remember that animated short?
Oh,
oh crud! Yeah, it wasn't with the Green Lantern animated movie. It was on that disc, wasn't it?
I think so. I just have the showcase Blu-ray with it all, but yeah, that was. Oh boy! I wish they did more of those. Those were great.
They were. Those were quite entertaining.
The last one they did was the Catwoman one. That was with year one.
Which year one?
The movie, the anime movie.
Oh,
that one had the last bonus short.
That's cool. I liked the Black Adam. What was it? Where he fights Shazam? That short.
Oh yeah, that was the one that had all the collections with it.
Yeah.
He had Arnold Vosloo as Black Adam.
Oh yeah. Well, the disc I have, it's just like that too. It's only like a half an hour long DVD, but
it has extended versions of the other shorts.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and the Jonah Hex one, and the Green Arrow one.
There was extended versions of those?
Slightly extended. Yeah. So just point out, yeah, Emotep was Black Adam. Wow, connecting it back to the Mummy. I guess not back, but connecting it to the Mummy movies.
I know.
Well, that works.
I think also a character that's Halloween is technically anyway is Zatanna, because she represents like the more fun side of Halloween and of just the mystic arts in general.
Yeah, she had a story too in that Cursed Cavalcade book,
Yep.
right?
Another one would be well, you said Solomon Grundy. What about Silver Banshee?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Silver Banshee's great.
I find it interesting during Supergirl they actually try to make her a good person.
Sort of.
Right.
Now, if only they could make a good show.
Oh.
No, the comic.
Just saying.
I only watched the first season, but I liked it well enough. I thought the
You
villains.
only watched the first season. It gets crazy.
Perhaps.
You know, and I really had a lot of hope for that show. And it has so much potential, and they keep screwing it up.
Oh, really?
Oh, terribly bad.
So I've heard.
It's oddly enough, it was when it went to the CW and not.
Yeah.
It's like I would have thought they would have made it better, but it didn't. It made it dumber.
Exactly. It just, it
really
has so much potential. I guess I heard they're possibly bringing Superman a show now.
They're gonna screw it up though.
Yeah, probably.
It's like the Tyler Hoechlin, whatever his name. He's actually a really good Superman, but the CW shows, they had so much promise. There's some good stuff in it, but like nowadays, looking at it, it's hard to really say that it's worked out well.
Yeah.
I remember when everyone was thinking Greg Bertolini, is that how you say his name, and was going to save the DCU and universe in movie and TV, and they should have put him in charge of everything. Yeah, kind of glad we didn't get that.
You know who nobody's mentioned that might fit Halloween well is Raven.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should have thought of that too.
Daughter of the Demon. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to represent those Teen Titans now.
Yeah, I'd been reviewing her book too.
I've been loving that book. Although I
Daughter of
also read
Darkness?
the miniseries beforehand.
Well, it's cool they have Marv Wolfman writing it, I think.
Is anybody watching the Titan show? Like, does that
I haven't.
Yeah, I feel like nobody cares.
I know I don't.
But I was just
I've never
wondering if
seen
like,
pictures and things. It doesn't look like it's anything that I want to see. And everybody that I've heard mention that they've seen it has not said anything good about it.
I think it's cool they're going to have the Doom Patrol on there, and I would watch that episode, but I'd have to get the DC app and everything, and it's just like, yeah.
And don't you have to pay for it too?
yeah,
Yeah.
Netflix.
I think it's $8 a month. You do get a lot of stuff, though. Don't get me wrong. I did look through it. You get a lot of digital comics access and stuff too. I mean, I would consider buying it, but right now it's just like another expense, Yep.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it as like compared to the Marvel Unlimited, where it's just the comics. I actually really enjoy the price point anyway.
Yeah. I was thinking instead of making it DC, they should have made it like Warner Brothers. Then you'd get all the Warner Brothers movies too that aren't necessarily DC. Like then it would be a lot more material you'd have access to.
Jeez, that would be a lot.
Yeah, that's what I would do with it. I don't know.
I know they said they're doing apparently a Swamp Thing show. I don't know
Swamp
when that's
Thing.
I don't know when that's supposed to come out, but I know I think it had I saw that they cast Madame Xanadu in it, which
Oh, nice.
yeah. They cast a black woman, even though Madame Xanadu is Nemu from the Arthurian cycle, so she's like a fairy. But
Oh, here you go just using facts.
and I thought about it as like at first when I saw that I was annoyed, and then I realized that if they race swap Xanadu, if somebody like Zatanna shows up, they'll be a lot less likely to race swap her because of that. So I was like, you know what? If I feel like that this may be a net positive in the long run.
Yeah, I think very few people know who she is outside of us super nerds. I forget where I first saw her. She was in like Final Crisis, I think, and then I was like, "Oh wow!"
Wait, who we talking about? I kind of walked away a second.
Was it Madame Xanadu?
Oh, yeah. Xanadu.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody.
Yeah.
One of those event books.
I remember Infinite Crisis where she lost her eyes, and they kind of kept it that she stayed blind
until New 52. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, New 52.
And the short segment worked out for them. They like their sales were really good for like 3 months, and then after a while they they kind of petered off. But
it seems like I was just thinking. It seems like Rebirth has done a little bit better in that way, right?
I think month to month it might be better. I don't know about overall.
Yeah, the overall sales aren't too great.
I do know that like New 52 had some good ideas, like Justice League Dark. That's a really good idea. Put all of the Mystic characters that people like, but they can't necessarily sustain their own series, and then put them all in one series. It's a good idea. And then there is not a single arc from Justice League Dark from that entire series that's worth adapting into a movie. They've wanted to make a movie of it for ever since New 52 came out, but there's not a whole lot of material there. Like the animated movie of that, it bears almost no relation to the comics except for the characters involved. It's a totally different story. And then the new one too, the new Justice League Dark, that's actually really good, bears no relation to the original Justice League Dark. And it's probably for the best. So stuff like that kind of is what the New 52 was all about. It's like, let's take a really good idea and mess it up.
Yeah. New 52 was trying maybe to do too much at once as well. They had a lot of titles, and a lot of them didn't get very far either. Yeah, you look at the numbering, a lot of issues, a lot of storylines or whatever ended before issue 20. Quite a few, because I have a bunch of the Convergence books, which were like 2015 or so, right at the very end, and they have ads for the books that are coming out, and it'll be like Dr. Fate #9 or something. I'm like, wow, this, you guys didn't get very far on a lot of these books. A lot of them, it's kind of crazy. They didn't even have a chance, really. So kind of crazy. I had this whole idea too of I had a whole folder of old spooky covers, but my screen share isn't really working, so I'm not sure what to do with that. But I was just thinking, there's some of the older books. There were quite a few. Like, it seems like it used to be a much more popular genre, the horror, horror comics in general. Because just DC, like in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they had House of Mystery, House of Secrets, Ghosts. There was a title, just DC Ghosts. Yeah. There was Witch. Yeah, that one was pretty good. I was looking at a lot. There's Witching Hour, Weird Mystery, and then Weird Western Tales often had like, ghosts and skeletons and stuff. There was Strange Adventures even had some, and Weird War Stories. So I don't know, I found it very interesting that it was a really popular genre that's kind of not completely gone away, but it's just tiny compared to what it used to be.
I'm a little surprised that there were so many in the 60s and late 50s, because I thought that the Comics Code basically did away with horror as a viable genre for at least a while, until the early 70s when Marvel essentially forced them to change it.
It's interesting, though. I was looking at a lot of the books from the 50s and 60s, and they're technically horror, but when you get into it, they're really mellow, like really tame, not that much happens. Or like it'll have monsters or skeletons in it, but they don't really like. It's not like horrifying anything that happens. Some of them were though. They're definitely trying to get away with stuff, but I noticed a big spike in the intensity once you get into the 70s.
Were Cain and Abel always in House of Mystery and House of Secrets, or did they come later?
Oh yeah, I remember you asked me that. I don't know. I'll look.
Because
I have no idea.
I don't know House of Mystery and House of Secrets, but I do know Swamp Thing and Sandman, which they were both featured pretty heavily in those.
Yeah. A lot of stuff originated from those books. Like I was reading House of Mystery in my last review, and it was, Martian Manhunter. It was a story about him. So there's all kinds of stuff. Let's see. I have to take a look into it. So, Martin, you were showing me a lot of like newer horror books that you have. Do you want to talk about some of those?
It was mostly just I have a lot of like independent comics. I don't really read them. I haven't really read all of them. Just the one that I read on Friday was Witches by Scott Snyder. I thought it was a really good book. And I also got like the Hellraiser Omnibus by Clive Barker. But I haven't even I've seen the art inside of it. It's pretty good. Most of it is. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of other like Image published like horror related stories. Another one that I read by Peter Milligan is titled The Discipline. There's a lot of sexuality in that one though. Oh, and there was one that Cullen Bunn wrote under Vertigo, titled Wolf Moon or something like that. It's about werewolves. I actually really liked it. And well, other than Swamp Thing and Constantine, and of course Sandman, yeah, man, there's a lot of like horror stuff, like outside of DC. I didn't show you. I have the Marvel Omnibus. I really like Robert Kirkman's, Marvel Zombies. Of course, that inspired Blackest Night, since it was. I'm pretty sure Jeff Johns, enjoyed a lot of like Robert Kirkman's, Walking Dead as well. Those came out like years before, so. But of course, the whole Blackest Night is more, action, more, superhero. There's not a lot of fucked up things that happen, like when you compare it to like Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies gets really depressing, especially like after Kirkman leaves. But it's a really fun read, And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I just have so many, independent comics, but I haven't even like been able to read them. I'm very excited to read the Archie comics though, the like Archie Afterlife and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see that Netflix show, but I gotta read the graphic novel first.
I read one issue of that and was surprised by just how kind of extreme and adult a lot of it was.
No kidding. I have all the books.
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as being Melissa Joan Hart, and then you read this comic and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, Roberto Sacarra or whatever the writer's name is.
Roberto Aguirre de Casa.
Yeah, Roberto. He's really good at horror. He adapted Stephen King's The Stand for Marvel, and I need to buy that omnibus as well. I mean, he's a really good writer. He's kind of like the comic book version of what's that director's name? Shit, I forgot his name.
Since we're mentioning other books besides DC, Immortal Hulk actually has a horror element to it.
Oh yeah,
that's actually been pretty good.
Kind of had that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they deviated from some occasions, but yeah, they're going back to it. Otherwise, I would say most Marvel comic books are horrible right now. So
I can agree with that.
There's
Well,
a
if we're gonna
couple
talk-
decent ones.
Well, if we're going to talk Marvel. One I could definitely say that came out of nowhere was after Mark Millar's before Old Man Logan, when he did Wolverine Enemy of the State, he ended it with a one-shot that was Wolverine in World War II, where it was basically more like a EC ghost story. Yeah, where basically he doesn't say a word. He just stands there, and it plays up his healing factor, where every time this Nazi, captain sees him and all that, he's all then like, kill it, I'm gonna make an example of this guy, kill him. They kill him, bury him, or toss him in the fire. He's back the next day, just standing there, and it's like, wait, didn't I just kill him? And it keeps escalating until eventually Wolverine does nothing to keep them being there and looking at him. Eventually, the guy brings about his own demise. And then there's Wolverine ready for the next poor schmo to come in, to try and take charge of the camp.
If you don't mind me saying, Midnight Cherry TV asked us all a question.
Go ahead.
DC Fans United here. Panel question: if you could come back as the ghost version of any Batman sidekick / partner, who would you be, and how would you haunt Batman in the Batcaves?
Jason
Wow.
Todd, but I think that's too obvious.
That's a good question.
I think I'd do Jason Todd, and I'd just screw with Batman, like put saran wrap over his toilet seat and stuff like that.
I just stayed near the costume in the case and all that, and just be like, Bruce, why did you let me die?
I think I'd also take a picture of the Batwing and post it all over the place, because you can now see why Batman's always mad.
That was a great question, by the way.
I'd come back as Bat Hound and just start barking in the middle of the daytime.
Oh,
Oh, did Ace die somehow? Did they burn him?
I
Bury
mean,
him
no,
at
I
the
think
pet cemetery.
I think Tom King brought in a new ace, and then you also have Titus for Damien. And yet we never see the two together.
I guess I didn't know Damien had a pet. But...
Yeah, he got Tomasi gave it to him.
Thing is huge.
What?
His pet is huge.
Oh, no, not that one. That's the one that was later on. I'm talking about Titus during the Batman and Robin stuff.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Yeah, not the monster that Patrick Gleason gave him later.
Mhm.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
I wouldn't want that litter box to clean.
Yeah, he has all. That's the one thing I love that Morrison gave him. Damien having all these pets. You have Bat Cow. You have Alfred the cat.
Mhm.
You have Titus and all that. It's just like, I guess he really needs a pet all over. Smack, though, I think he was talking about the big red beast guy he got during Damien, Son of Batman.
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait. And what's wrong with Bat Cow? I think he's kind of funny.
Oh,
Tip that
man.
sucker.
The whole Batman Incorporated, like Grant Morrison's vegan agenda kind of got to me a little bit. I did not finish that trade. Like, okay, we get it. Eating meat is bad. Here's a cuddly cow.
That's true, but at the same time, though, I think Dan DiDio definitely had some fun with him.
Oh, I don't discount the fun they had with their cow. I just thought it was a little unrealistic.
True.
And, it was so over the top, too. Like, they're in a meat packing plant or something and fighting the butchers, and there's just blood all over the place. And, like, well, after reading that, and then I found out Grant Morrison was vegan, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that's been known since Animal Man. And even then, he's made no secret about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If I was the next writer, what I would do is I'd make those animals disappear for a while, and then I'd have some character ask, "Where are the animals? Oh, they tasted good."
Well, actually,
They were delicious.
well, that's really funny because when Morrison ended his last issue on Animal Man, he said, "Hey, the next writer might come in and make you eat meat." Very end of the next issue under the new writing team, he's caught eating meat.
Vegan Batman.
I don't think Morrison ever went that far. At least I think he only did it with Animal Man because he felt he could. Well,
Yeah.
technically he could.
Well, I mean, that makes more sense, though.
Batman can't be as big as he is and not eat meat. It's not possible.
Bane eats some meat. Well, Bane's got some legal substances helping him out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what venom is. It's just pure meat pumped into his veins.
Oh, nice.
We never
Did you ever read that Jose Luis Garcia Lopez story with Batman Venom, where he takes the venom?
Oh, you mean the actual Batman Venom? That was with
Yeah.
Denny O'Neil, and I forgot who did the artwork, but
Yeah,
I
Jose
had
Luis.
that. I had that trade, and it was, oh, good Lord. There's a reason why it actually fell in a bit more mature stuff.
Mm-hmm. Batman gets pretty sadistic, huh?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Batman story because it shows that he's not Bat-God. He actually does have human failings.
Yeah, he failed to save a little girl.
Yeah, and he got himself addicted to steroids and.
Well, he's failed to get married too.
Well, if we're talking about Batman, I got to bring out one of my books I actually picked out, Arkham Asylum, Living Hell. One of the few Dan Slott written DC books, and it's really good.
Yeah, I was going to say that one's not bad.
I mean, especially it introduced so much character that had been around to this point. It makes me wondering if Dan Slott's seeing royalties every time they use well, what's his name? Aaron, the guy with the hook hand.
I think he did the Humpty Dumpty ones too, didn't he?
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty, the Great White Shark.
Yeah.
Jane Doe. Jane Doe, that's a creepy character. The person who, studies a person and then kills them and tries to take their life. Like with a flesh suit and all that.
Well, I think he can just tap into crazy normal because it fits his character in the first place.
Well, I also really liked his She-Hulk.
I'm hit and miss with that one.
Well, I would say the first 12 issues. Once they started up again, it's kind of lost a little of its quality.
I just didn't like how he pretty much turned her into a slut. That's just like, no.
I always thought he kind of poked fun at that, having be that she wasn't a slut, and that while she was, always wanting to have fun and party, it was more of a case of like, it wasn't as bad as people thought it was, especially when it was revealed, oh no, that was her from another Earth that slept with the Juggernaut.
Yeah, I suppose.
I love that running gag. I did not sleep with the Juggernaut. Oh, Aaron Cash, yeah. Boy, yeah, Dan Slott must have got huge royalties from the Arkham games.
I don't think that's how it works, unfortunately.
I know Jerry Conway definitely did for Killer Croc being in those games.
Jerry Conway is, I don't know, he's pretty savvy with this kind of stuff. I know he gets money from Legends of Tomorrow because they use Firestorm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was,
Yep.
I think that's the big question. Was Dan Slott in while they still had those going, or did they stop that beforehand? Because I do know a lot of the creators still have rights for some of these characters.
It's like different depending on the creator, I guess, the individual deals they got.
Right. Then again, Firestorm was definitely during that point the explosion that led to the implosion.
Well, maybe they couldn't afford paying Jerry anymore since they took him off the show.
I will say this, though. One thing about Living Hell that probably is one of the creepiest moments you never want to be in, being in the Arkham Asylum showers, dropping the soap when the Joker's in the room.
No.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I'm still one of those who think the Joker he's not wired that way.
I don't know, isn't that a thing now? People are trying to decide if the Joker's gay.
Yeah.
Well, we got 3 Jokers to worry about. I don't think all 3 of them are going to be gay.
If we get up to 5 Jokers, one of them probably will be.
Well, we don't know that they don't all love each other.
I don't know.
I hope not.
Well, pretty much all the origin stories for Joker, he's got a wife and stuff. So,
Well, one version, yeah.
well, I guess this is true. But still,
And they never completely said that that's canon either, though.
no.
Actually, one time they tried to during the Gotham Knights title, where apparently Riddler knew and dealt with Joker beforehand and all that. But most people, that was during the Return of Hush storyline, but almost no one talks about that one.
Yeah.
Except for Paul Dini when he followed up on it, but he just simply had to be, oh yeah, Joker put in a pacemaker in him, and that's all Dini played off of.
That origin doesn't make any sense to me. You don't go from 0 to homicidal murderer in no time at all like that.
I think though that's what Joker was trying to do, is playing off the whole one bad day, and I always find that interesting that if a person truly is weak-willed, that one bad day will break them. I mean, to be honest, I always thought if I was to write Batman, if I was to start from from ground zero and work up with Harley, I'd actually have it be that Harley right before the stuff with the Joker breaking her down. She just had everything just go wrong for her. Professor Arkham finding out, oh, according to what I've been hearing now, you slept your way through your grades, or she actually had a guy she was interested in, totally just ditched her, all that stuff. And then finally that's why she just started obsessing with the Joker, because she felt like that was the only good thing she had left, was her time was her put-in. So, personally, as me, I think that would actually make sense why she's so obsessed with him.
Could be, but I feel like the animated series, which kind of took from the '89 movie, where Joker was just a gangster, like a mid-level gangster beforehand, and then the accident made him kind of screw loose. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, like I said, I always like the multiple choice.
Well, yeah, but I hate the 3 Joker thing because it's just a cop-out.
I think that's more of a case of every time there's been a major crisis, a new Joker was brought in, which if you look at the 3 Jokers, they all fit those different eras.
Now, I'm curious. You said you think that was a cop-out. Do you mean because all the crap they've done to Joker and want to revert him a little bit more back to the way he originally was? Is that what you're...
A little bit, yeah. That it's like Morrison had an explanation for why Joker's always different. And I feel like that one kind of worked.
The super insanity.
Yeah, where he reinvents himself every so often to cope with the stresses of living in an ever-changing world.
Funny thing, I actually asked Scott Snyder that once, and despite him being a huge Morrison fan, he always felt like that was one of the things Morrison introduced he didn't like.
Okay.
Which, if you look at his Joker, it makes sense.
That's sort of, yeah, I don't know. I mean, for one thing, there's multiple Jokers, but there's also multiple Batmans, if you're thinking about it. Like, because, Batman reinvents himself every so often, too. But that doesn't need some complicated explanation. People just accept that. But for some reason with the Joker, you need like a weird explanation for that.
Well, I always say this. One of my favorite bits was during Gotham City Sirens, when Harley actually met up with the Joker's old original reoccurring henchman, whoever that little clown guy was. And he's actually saying, I was there when the Joker first snapped. I don't know what caused it, but he just was right in line at lunch and then started beating a guy to death with a lunch tray. But when he was talking about the early days, saying, he was the clown prince of crime. And what Harley said, oh, I remember those. He called them the what was I thinking days.
Looks like we lost a few people, sir.
Uh-oh. Oh, sometimes people get dropped and come back in, hopefully. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, where's Nerdette?
Oh, no.
I don't know, sometimes Google does that.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
I don't know why.
Weird.
Did you ever read that series, Tales of the Unexpected? Because I know that was like a sort of horror anthology sort of thing. Because I haven't read it. I do like the modern one they're doing, the team book.
Yeah, The Unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I have the first issue of that. I haven't kept up with it.
Sorry. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I got dropped for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Sometimes people get dropped. Oh, and
That's
your
weird.
camera is on, just so you know.
Yeah, your camera's
Oh
on.
my god.
You never showed yourself.
Yeah.
No, I have, just not when I'm with my hair up and all that fun stuff.
All we could see is the tip of your hair, literally. That was it.
Yeah, it was facing.
All right,
the
we're
ceiling.
good then.
In the comment, Eric
I
Green,
just-
you got tired of you mansplaining everything.
Yeah, that must be what happens.
Well, one thing I do like about the Unexpected is they're bringing back the bad guy. Forgot his name, but from Final Crisis, that monitor guy.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I
The
got it because they
anti-monitor?
mentioned it in an interview a while back.
The anti-monitor?
No, not the anti-monitor. The Mordis, whatever his name is. The guy who was the bad guy in the true bad guy beyond Darkseid and Final Crisis and the Superman Beyond.
Yeah,
That's cool.
The guy who is probably the Monitor from the original Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, until the Over Monitor was brought back in Metal.
Gosh, so confusing.
Mandrak.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mandrak, the cosmic vampire. He survives by eating stories.
I that's one thing I do love about Morrison is the meta-ness of it, about how he still keeps it in the continuity.
Yeah, Morrison is great at writing Superman, but like writing main events, no.
Well, I still always blame Final Crisis more on the DC itself and how they overhyped it and everything when it was never meant to be an event.
Which one, Metal?
Yeah, Metal. Not Metal. No, not Metal. Final Crisis.
Oh, well, I mean, they definitely hyped it. I mean, I've been reviewing Countdown to Final Crisis, and it's taken me over a year because there's so many issues.
I'm one of those who I dropped it. That's one of the few first books I ever dropped.
Yeah, it doesn't get much love.
Well, it's because it amounts to nothing in the end. In the end, when they finally became Final Crisis, most of the stuff they built up to, Morrison did not even reference.
Yeah.
I mean, right down to what was going on with Mary Marvel had nothing to do with how it went in Final Crisis.
This is yeah, totally.
And you have that, and how Earth 51 or 52 was destroyed. Not what was mentioned about him. Talked about in Final Crisis.
51, I think.
Yeah, Earth 51. Yeah, not what was mentioned in Final Crisis. The stuff was the deaths of Darkseid and all that stuff. Not how it was in Final Crisis.
Yeah. Even the Amazons attack, the stuff that happens in Countdown doesn't match up to the mini.
All because they just had the first issue already scripted that year beforehand. And they just played off of that, saying, okay, here's the starting point. Let's do everything to lead up to that.
Yeah. It's especially with Mary Marvel is jarring because she went through her whole arc in Countdown to Final Crisis. Now she's back to being good. She's got her white outfit and everything. And then in Countdown.
Yeah, well, by the time you get to the end, it just forces it back to being
again.
evil. But even then, it doesn't match up with what we find out anyway. I mean, it doesn't come up in Final Crisis. Can I tell you why she was evil?
Yeah.
It doesn't going to come out in Countdown. She was possessed by Desaad in Final Crisis. That's why she was evil.
Yeah.
But in Countdown, not brought up. It's all, which makes it worse, if you ask me.
Yeah, Countdown is just her.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it beforehand since by the time you were seeing where it was Black Adam's doing his powers, which personally I don't like that because it's saying, oh, so his powers were always bad.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It corrupts her. She isn't as bad as she becomes later, though.
Right. But yeah, again, Countdown was just such a mess compared to 52.
Yeah. I like it, but it could have definitely been better. It sucks it doesn't tie into Final
Crisis. If I can say one joke that Linkara has made about, atop the fort's wall has made about Countdown. The monitors, let's be honest, most of them were saying, we should do something. Should we do something? We should do something. Should we do something? That's basically what they did.
Hey, they only did that for like 45 issues or so.
And then you also have the stuff with Captain Atom / Monarch.
Oh,
They're adding for the omnibus.
Well, see, that's the problem. There's so many different storylines all going on at the same time, and I'm down to
Superman
like
Prime.
Yeah, there's Superboy Prime. There's the Ray Palmer stuff. There's the Challengers from Beyond. There's like Jimmy Olsen has got his own powers and he's running around.
I know, and again, it amounts to 0 by the end. Now,
Well,
unfortunately, they have some things that do carry on afterwards, but for the most part, it doesn't matter.
Well,
I'm hoping to start something that I used to hear about from podcasts, because I know Midnight Cherry mentioned it. Almost anytime someone mentions the name Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, this group of guys who used to know always would immediately say, "Praise be his name."
that's
I think
awesome.
it's something that should be continued on here. Anytime someone said it, because he's that damn good.
Yeah, we might have. I think we should continue that tradition.
Yeah, praise be his name.
Well, I mean, he set the literal style guide for DC for decades. Like, come on.
Yeah, up until Jim Lee took over, it was almost anytime you saw him in media stuff, it was his work.
Pretty much. That's what you always see too on like licensed stuff, like Wonder Woman mugs and Batman shirts and stuff. Like 90% of the time, especially if it's a retro style, it's almost always his.
Yeah. Oh, Countdown Arena. Actually, I kind of found that since I'm a huge Elseworld fan, a dumb fun book that never happened.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like a better idea than the execution, and the art on it is just.
But it was one of the cases though where they actually redeemed, and for many people, the Dark Knight Returns Superman, since he was the main hero of that book.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
and they had fans vote on it. And come on, if you're gonna have fans vote on it, it's better to have someone who can draw fast, like Scott McNeil, to draw it and get all those possible ways out.
I did like having Batman versus Batman versus Batman versus Batman.
Yep.
Well, that's the other thing we were talking about, there being 3 Jokers. It's like, shouldn't there be at least 50 plus Jokers? Are we still doing the multiple Earths or what?
I think this doesn't have to do with the multiple Earths. I think these are all the same Jokers on the one Earth that have, again, every time there was a major crisis, a new Joker has popped up, but it was only through, I think, Manhattan's machinations that we've actually had them all coexisting now. That's what I personally took it as, that thanks to the events of Manhattan, with rebirths and all that stuff, you have ever since I think Superman Reborn and even a bit beforehand, you had to be these other Jokers now are all coexisting when they shouldn't have.
Okay. Yeah. Some anomalies, huh?
Yeah.
The monitors or monitor is going to get pissed off. Well, that was kind of the thing too, right? Like the one monitor wanted to kill all the anomalies, and then the other one was like, nah.
Right, and then technically now there's only 3 monitors. Well, if you count Mandrake, 4 monitors. You have Mandrake, you have Nick Zuotu. That was the guy that Morrison left at the end of his stuff and used in Multiversity. You have the Omni monitor, or Over monitor, whatever that Snyder brought in at the end of Metal, and you have the Anti monitor. If he's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, after Darkseid Wars, who knows? Oh, geez, I'd say that the Anti-Monitor, that's a great scary force just for his raw power alone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he was like the most successful as far as destructive.
Well, yeah, almost all the Infinite Earths down to 5.
Even less, right? Wasn't there like just 3?
No, it was 3 at first, and then there was 2 more that was brought back in, that were in. You had Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth S, Earth X, and Earth or whichever one was the Charlton Heroes, or that's still Earth X.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 5.
That's right.
Yeah, trust me, that was one of the books I've read to death. I'm almost like one of those go-to people for multiversal type stories.
I do like Crisis.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's great. I love Crisis on Infinite Earths as well.
I have almost all the Elseworlds that have been published.
That's awesome.
And believe me, that was not easy. The only one I still cannot find, and I refuse to get the trades, those Elseworld trades, just so I can have them, is Flashpoint. The
Oh,
original
yeah.
Flashpoint.
From like 2011.
No. Before that, this is one where Wally was in a it was just some other 3-part Flash Elseworld.
Cool.
Yep.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm rambling or taking over a lot.
No, it's cool. It's really interesting, actually. Glad you made it in.
Yep. Well, again, I really did get to talk about this with anyone else. Well, if I was going to mention that I brought it up earlier about Lee Bermejo with artwork. Did you guys know he worked on the Resident Evil magazine or comic?
I never heard anything good about the Resident Evil comic. Is it really as bad as I hear?
I personally enjoyed it as far as the one that was in a magazine format.
Okay. Now, does that come close to the video game and story, or is it completely different like the movies?
No, it's definitely more to the video games. It actually tries to fit in between events. And one moment I like is that there's a story that happens after the events of the first game where you have all of the main characters, Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Barry meeting up, talking about what happened. But there's a great bit where you have Chris mentioning how he found Jill in the cell. And then Jill's like, "Hey, Chris, wait a second. Not now, Jill. I'm still talking." And then she just thinks, "What is he talking about? I found him in the cell." And then, of course, later on, when they're saying we got this after Rebecca rescuing Jill from her cell, Jill just thinks, "Sure, whatever." Like, I love how they were basically acknowledging something's not right, but they don't want to acknowledge who's the more canon story. But there's stories in it. But Lee Bermejo did some artwork, some of which was actually set during Resident Evil 2. Like, one of my favorite ones, a guy who's a zookeeper is there when Birkin attacks it, infesting a bunch of the animals, and he eventually runs to a room, gets word in from Leon that's happened in between scenes in the game, and he basically tells them, you got to make sure those animals do not get out. So what does he do? He realizes the power grid in the zoo has been pretty volatile and is ready to blow at any moment if it's not done right. So he decides, I'll overload it. So he grabs a bunch of weapons. Why they have them there, who knows? But he suits up, fights his way right through, and then overloads it, blows up the place. He falls asleep, and apparently one surviving infected animal eats him while he's asleep.
That's pretty wicked.
It is. I mean, there's some real good ones, like Barry, story with Barry and all that. But one thing I like Barry saying is, he sees a key nearby. He says, once you learn Raccoon City, pick up any key you find.
Yeah, no kidding.
Again, it's stuff like that that's just real. And again, the ones that Lee Bermejo did the artwork on, it's really good. But if you look at him compared to now, given the coloring and everything, you really couldn't tell it was him. Except for his use of shadows.
Movies are better.
You know what? I always say this. If the first movie existed on its own, no sequels, it would have been fine. It would have fit in with the games because it would have been a side story. Well, what up?
You didn't mean that the movies were better than the games, did you?
Well, they're pretty different.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually never played the games, but
you're missing out. As a horror fan, those are good games. The acting, voice acting is terrible, but that's what makes it great. As a matter of fact, bad voice acting in games. I just played this again for the first time in a long time. I played it with Little Frugal on the Dreamcast. Zombie Revenge. Terrible voice acting. It's not even a great game, but it's just stupid fun.
Well, I've been actually going through all the Resident Evil games I have, going in chronological order. So I just got through 0, and now I'm in the middle of the remake of the original.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great remake of the original. I have 0. I have had it for years and years and years. I just have not played through that one. Every time I go to, I end up playing something else because I've beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Raccoon City, I know.
Operation good. Raccoon City.
Yeah. So
I personally say one of my favorite has to be the Umbrella and Darkside Chronicles.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
Yeah, the rail shooters on the Wii.
Yeah, I don't have those. I'm gonna get those soon.
Yeah, they are very good and real fun. better if you had a co-op player, but you could still do it fine single.
Yeah. At Midnight Cherry TV, just since you mentioned Dreamcast, you've got to play House of the Dead 2 on the Dreamcast. That game's freaking fun as can be.
And well, if we're thinking with Resident Evil, sadly, while Code Veronica was a good game on Dreamcast, Code Veronica X was better on PlayStation 2.
Wow. Calling it
that
out.
game was dope.
What?
I really like Resident Evil 1 through 4, especially the remake.
Oh,
4 is
yeah.
my favorite one because it's just full of shit, but it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil 7 is just outstanding. I don't even care about the haters. And I can't wait to play, the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh, yeah.
I still can't wait to play Resident Evil 7. I don't have a next-gen system yet, so.
And I just want to say fuck Konami for ruining Silent Hills, but I also love Silent Hill 1 through 4 a lot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and that Kojima demo that came out, the Silent Hills
PT.
Man, I was so excited. Yeah,
I'm going to be putting up a video this month with beating Silent Hill 2. I've been saving it for Halloween.
Oh yeah, that's the best one too. That's my favorite one, Silent Hill 2.
Yep.
Okay, can I ask you this though? What's any of you here that's played or know anything about Resident Evil? What's your favorite aspect? Character, creature, whatever.
Well, I honestly hate zombies. They bore the fuck out of me. But I was able to enjoy Marvel Zombies because it's with the superheroes. But
right.
I don't know. I just for some reason I fell in love with Resident Evil 2, especially with the characters Leon and Claire, and of course what's her name, the Asian chick?
Ada.
Yeah, Ada. I was gonna call her Jada. I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, definitely for me, it's just the character development. It's just they're really fun. I only like the first Resident Evil movie, but the actual Resident Evil CGI movies, those are really fun.
Yeah, those are actual canon.
Yeah, they're really fun. But my favorite character for sure is Leon, and I guess my second favorite one would be Chris Redfield, of course.
Right. Yeah, for me, it's Albert Wesker. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that asshole.
I love that bastard. That's a good bastard. Yeah, that's a bastard. That's a good bastard for sure.
I still don't think he's dead. I felt because here's the thing. 2 rocket launchers taken to kill him, when in Code Veronica X you had a plasma launcher.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back in Resident Evil 8, whatever they decide to do.
Someone asked if anyone read opinions on Batman Europa and Batman Max. Europa I found was all right. Not worth the wait.
I love the art in Europa, but I don't know what else to say.
And Max, I didn't get those yet.
Oh yeah, the crossover, right? I forgot. Yeah. Well, I'm not really familiar. I know about the Max, I know about his origins and all that, but I don't really know much about his whole story.
Oh, so, and Midnight Cherry, Lego DC. I've just played through Super Villains.
I'm playing the original Lego DC superheroes for Marvel with Little Frugal. I think we're 75% through it.
Did you say DC superheroes with Marvel?
That's what I heard.
Did I say DC superheroes with Marvel? Oops, I meant I'm playing the Lego Marvel superheroes with Little Frugal around 75% through. I 100%ed Lego Batman though.
Funny thing about Marvel superheroes too, since they couldn't use because of the strike and all that, they couldn't use the American voice actors, so they got some actors from Europe. But guess who they have voicing Kang? The guy who voiced Darth Maul in Phantom Menace.
Huh.
And believe it or not, Kurt Busiek wrote the story for Marvel Superheroes 2. And given how Kang's involved, that at least Kang's going to be awesome. I guess Busiek writes the best Kang.
Yeah, who is Busiek and Mark Waid? They're obsessed with fucking Kang, right? And Jason Aaron is obsessed with that one villain with the eyeball, whatever his name is.
The eyeball.
Yeah, the big ass eyeball. He was in original.
Oh yeah, Original Sin.
And he's in a lot of other ones too.
Yeah, well, hey, gotta give Busiek the credit. He was able to finally make sense out of so much of Kang's history.
I think Busiek is the only one who knows how to write Ultron, and characters like that.
I say Shooter did too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot. Well, isn't Ultron also like in Annihilation Conquest
Yes,
or whatever?
Annihilation Conquest, Dan Abernathy Landing.
I have the omnibus, but I still haven't read it yet, and I'm so upset I wasn't able to buy the first Annihilation as an omnibus. I know they have the trades, but I want the actual,
I'll say
omnibus.
it's a lot better than Bendis making him a woman during Mighty
Annihilation
Avengers.
was like, Annihilation was like, man, so dope. Like way better than Civil War, anything that came out around that time.
Well, Bendis likes to change things.
Yeah, that didn't stick though. Remember?
Oh, that's another hard topic right there. Bendis, writing Superman.
Oh, good lord! Don't get me started on Action Comics. I mean, seriously, it's like, oh, I want to write a single Superman, but I know fans are going to be royally pissed off if I just, break them up. So I'm going to try and have my kick in it too and have it be, oh, they're not broken up, but Lois. Here's one thing I've asked people around. Has anyone noticed that he's taken Joe Quesada's plot point of blame the big thing that everyone's fans are hating on the woman?
Yeah.
He did that.
Well,
Joe Quesada did that with Mary Jane in One Moment in Time, and now Bendis is doing that with Lois.
Well,
Yeah.
he knows what the fans like, and he isn't giving it to us. So it's like,
why blame the woman?
And nobody asked for one more day though. That's some bullshit.
Right, but I'm just about the in-universe explanation. Mary Jane's fault.
Yeah, but yeah, Bendis is definitely going that Quesada way now.
it's too bad too, because the art on Action Comics looks great. Like,
Oh
the
yeah,
cover
Ryan
for-
Sook.
Yeah.
No, not Ryan Sook. It was Eric Rude. Who I gotta say, what?
Was it Steve Rude or?
Steve Rude is what I meant. Steve Rude, not Eric Rude. Steve
Yeah,
Rude.
he's so good.
Oh, did you ever read the Superman Incredible Hulk one shot that Rude did?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Oh, it was. And get this, Roger Stern wrote it. It's set during their early days, back after the original Incredible Hulk series, but before he arrived in, where Stan would put him in Avengers and all that. So it actually calls back to that stuff and involves Lex manipulating things and all that. And basically they have it be, this is a universe where the two have always coexisted, which I love a bit where Lois says, they're called the Earth's mightiest heroes, but they don't have Superman on. They're not really mighty then, are they?
Makes sense to me. I know there was a Superman Fantastic Four crossover.
Yep, that was Dan Jurgens writing and drawing, and I feel he did that, a lot of that just so we have a moment of having Hank Henshaw working with 3 of the Fantastic Four, since he was based off of a twisted, morbid version of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, I guess, makes sense.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, and you get Golden Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I see Malik may have points. I'm sorry if I'm hogging things.
Oh no, I'm fine with it. I gotta go in a few minutes anyway, so I only got a little bit more time. But
I appreciate you being here.
oh, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It looks like Nerdette got dropped. It looks like.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be able to make it back.
Yeah, you gotta love YouTube and all that, and how it loves to disconnect people and cause issues with mics and everything else.
Yeah, a lot of issues lately. I don't know. When you stream, do you use anything special like Streamlabs or anything?
Nope.
Not me. I just use Hangouts.
Yeah,
You too? I know some of the big.
I've thought about using OBS, but I've always been afraid I'm just gonna screw it up.
That's the thing. There's a lot of stuff you can do while streaming, and I just haven't really looked into how to do it because of that. But it would be nice to have it be more stable.
Yeah.
Like my screen share wasn't working, and we lost callers, but it's still good. Still a fun stream.
I just realized we've not been talking much Halloween stuff, have we?
Nah, it's all right.
Well, we talked about some.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, the Cain and Abel thing that Unranked asked me about?
Mm-hmm.
You were wondering if they had always been in House of Mystery. It says on Wikipedia that Kane's first appearance was in House of Mystery 175. So
Damn.
apparently they
Taking a
came in
while.
kind of late.
You know what the deal with the Comics Code was, right? 'Cause I
A
think
little bit.
that because well, what's sort of ironic about it is that it was MC Gaines, Max Gaines, who was the head of EC Comics, who was the one that proposed the Comics Code, and EC Comics did Tales from the Crypt and a whole bunch of other pretty extreme comics like that. And during the Frederick Wortham hearings, those kind of comics were brought up a lot to sort of prove that comics were immoral and stuff like that. And so he said, look, if we don't censor ourselves, Congress is going to do it, and nobody wants that. So let's get together and, show that we're pretending at least to take them seriously. And unfortunately for him, the Comics Code was so extreme that it meant that he basically could not publish any of the comics that his company was known for. The only one that stuck around was Mad Magazine, of all things. But all the Tales from the Crypt stuff and all that had to go because there's so much sex and violence in it and supernatural creatures that it couldn't be there. And then in the late 60s, Stan Lee felt that Marvel was powerful enough where they could sort of challenge the Comics Code. And the code explicitly forbade supernatural creatures like vampires.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so over the top.
And
the main reason was they wanted to put the kibosh on EC because it was outselling them. So they had to and they decided that's actually one of the things that the Comics Code is. It was brought it together by, look at everyone's talking about, look at all the big media censoring all the people nowadays, modern day. This was what was done way back then to try and shut off EC. You had Marvel, DC, and the like working together to come up with this Comics Code to shut up EC.
Wow.
So, but in the late 60s, that wasn't really an issue anymore. And so Stan Lee was like, look, we have to get rid of this thing. So he was like, well, it just says supernatural creatures, but what if you had a character that had all the trappings of a vampire, but wasn't technically a vampire? And that's where they came up with Morbius, the living vampire. He looks like a vampire, he acts like a vampire, but his origin is that he injected himself. He was a doctor and he injected himself with an experimental treatment for something, and it went horribly wrong. And now he constantly needs fresh blood to keep himself alive. And once that happened, that sort of opened the floodgates. The Comics Code made itself a little bit more liberalized, and then they allowed for actual supernatural creatures again. And so that's where you had stuff like House of Mystery and House of Secrets getting way more extreme, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And you had Ghost Rider and and Blade and Tomb of Dracula and all those characters that Marvel created in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was where horror became. That's why earlier I said I was kind of surprised that House of Secrets and House of Mystery was still running during the 60s, because I didn't think that they were viable at the time. But,
oh yeah, going back to the 50s, I was surprised. Though, looking at those early decades, they were much wordier. So I think a lot of the horror elements were in the stories. Words, literally. It wasn't the pictures so much, because especially like the first issue of House of Mystery, it's supposed to be all werewolves or something, but if you flip through it, it's mostly just people talking, but it's extremely wordy. Like the amount of words they used was probably 3 or 4 times a modern comic would.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where the horror was hidden, was in the writing.
That's a good point.
Whereas the ones from the 70s, which I was looking at, a lot of them would have, skeletons and ghosts and things in the pictures a lot of the time. It was real interesting. I think there might have been some kind of weird thing too, where you could get away with it if it was a reflection, because I kept finding the same idea repeated, where it was like this guy married his bride, but then you see in the mirror that she's actually like a skeleton. Or like, you meet this old lady and you see in the mirror, oh, she's actually a ghost. Like, I kept finding that in covers and stuff. So I don't know if that was some kind of a thing, but maybe it was just a story element that was reused a lot. But apparently that's something people were afraid of, was they aren't really who they say they are. They're actually something worse. So it was interesting. I really like that old kind of classic horror stuff. And oh, go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually one of my fears, that I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna see something that's not me.
Yeah, because I always thought that was just a thing for vampires, right? You can't see their reflection, but apparently that's a pretty common horror trope. Like, oh, it's actually something else. They have a reflection, but it's something horrible. So I see Nerdette made it back.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep getting kicked out.
Because your internet sucks, that's why.
Google's sexist.
Sorry. Hey, just to bring up one thing. Who here is a Blade fan?
Who is?
Everyone loves Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Did anyone ever read Mark Guggenheim's 12-issue run?
No, but I saw the movies.
Right.
Well, Guggenheim's run was actually pretty fun. It had Howard Chaykin doing artwork throughout just about all of it. And while I'm not a big fan of Chaykin's artwork, it does have one thing that I'm pretty sure if it was done today would cause massive outrage. It reveals that turns out Blade is half white.
Dun, dun, dun.
And yeah, Stephen Blade says that himself when he hears it from his father. He's like, I sure as hell ain't half white.
I might have to dig those up. That might make a fun video.
Yep, it's 12 issues long, and they actually got Gene Colan to do 2 pages at the very end.
Yeah, because I don't think I have that. I'm going to have to look for that.
Yep, I got post-trade with me. It was done at the same time Guggenheim was doing his Civil War Wolverine arc. The one where he got blasted into being a adamantium skeleton and he somehow regenerated from that.
Now, I have to agree with Eric Breen there. He said Blade's best days were in Tomb of Dracula.
Oh, actually, that's one thing about this book. They do flashbacks from his from Blade's youth, and it was meant to lead all the way up to leading.
Oh, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I think you got kicked out.
No.
Is he going?
You're back.
Yeah,
Google out of control. Wasn't Tomb of Dracula is where Blade originated, right?
Yep. Which is funny.
Nice.
And another thing that's funny is that with Tomb of Dracula, I think that was one of the first comics that focused on a villain.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
And that was actually something that Jerry Conway said he used for the basis for his Carnage ongoing, was to try and focus on, we focus on the villain is running around, we focus on these other characters trying to lead up to stopping him.
Jerry Conway. It's crazy how influential he was, like how much he actually created and wrote.
He was the Jeff Johns of his days.
Yeah. And you see him on Twitter now and people would have no idea. You know, you go to his Wikipedia page, you have to, and just go to what he's worked on. You have to scroll, right? Like normally a creator, you can just see it all on your screen. It's like, no, scroll. DC still scroll. I'm down to Marvel scroll. It's like, it's got so much, and like influential stuff, Action Comics and everything. And, you know, he's like the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez of writing back then. In fact, they worked on the same books sometimes. So,
yep. And some of the characters he created.
Yeah. Punisher, right? And
Girl, I think.
Firestorm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch, actually. There's a whole roster, but those are the main ones.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I don't mean to be a jerk, but I do have to go. I have to get some work done before I go and leave to work at 5 a.m. So
Oh man, early.
All right.
I have an extra long drive tomorrow.
Nice. You gonna do a road rage video?
No, I think I'm gonna have to pay more attention to where I'm going because I've never been this way before. So I better pay a little more attention.
You don't want to be
My
ranting.
brain on mental, just the usual drive there.
Well, I do like listening to your road rage videos.
Yeah, I know. I just rage out terribly bad.
Yeah, it's funny you call him that, but you're actually very calm usually. Just
Well, on the road is usually where I'm my least calm. So
yeah,
Drive safely.
just for the fun, just since I've been doing those videos, I've had a mirror fall off. I've had my windshield cracked. I got rear-ended.
Dang.
It's been wonderful.
wow. Well, maybe don't do them anymore then. I'm just kidding.
No, it had nothing to do with that, It just happens. So it's all
the
good.
luck of the draw.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you guys for having me. It was great talking to you. I hope I get to do it again sometime.
Absolutely, you're always welcome here.
And thank you for everyone in the comment section being so nice to me as well. Much appreciated. And you all have a wonderful night.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Midnight Terror, just to point out, I've read a lot of that Dastardly Muttley mini, and it gets weird.
I bet it does.
Especially the ending. Like, they kept on saying, oh, all these books are connected, but how is this one connected? They actually have a way of connecting in a way with the other Hanna-Barbera stories in a way.
Really?
I don't want to spoil it for him, so I'm not going to say. But at the very end, it's Garth Ennis. What do you expect?
Because I've read some of those. Like I read the Wacky Raceland one, and
The
I
Scooby
read
Apocalypse.
yeah, which only had 6 issues.
What? No,
So-
Scooby Apocalypse has gone on. No.
Oh,
Wacky
no,
Raceland had 6 issues.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
No,
Scooby
yeah.
Apocalypse is the only one that's still going.
yeah, that one's ongoing. It did really well.
Yeah, but that's something that Keith Giffen has mentioned. Even as critically acclaimed as the Flintstones one, which I actually liked, it was
love
not
it.
selling.
Yeah, it's too bad. I got the first issue, and it was on the shelf a long time after it came out. And I was like, no way. The first print is still here, and the
Yeah.
LCS guy's like, yeah, it's not selling, but so good.
Yep, and like I said, I love the Jetsons mini.
I see. They put so many out. I hadn't even
Yeah, you have
just
the
Wacky
Jetsons one.
Raceland and Flintstones. The only ones I've actually read.
Right. Well, the Scooby Apocalypse, that one is, again, the fact it's still going, and it's basically the typical what they do with Keith Giffen and JMD Mateus. Let them do what they want, like they did with Justice League 3000.
All I know is I saw a cover for the Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, and it said something like, Scrappy Doo's still alive. And I was like, so the implication of Scrappy Doo is like they thought he was dead. Like,
But yes, there was a
what the
point
hell
where
is going on?
there was a point where Scrappy was around. He's all
Scrappy
buffed.
Doo.
What?
Like, Scrappy Doo is dead. Oh no.
Well, yeah, they believed he was dead, and then this is the reveal that he was still alive. And believe it or
Yeah.
not, the way they handle Scrappy is surprisingly good.
Huh.
For one, he actually gets buffed up and all that, but he's a badass.
Oh my goodness.
Then again, so is Scooby. Well, so is everyone.
They're just like, Scrappy Doo is not dead. But read more. It's just like, what?
Again, that's more meant for people who have been reading for a while.
Yeah, for sure. You can't come into these things on like issue 30 or whatever and be like,
Well, especially now, Scooby can talk normal.
oh, nice.
Of course,
Didn't
even he's like,
die.
"What am I? What am I saying? And how am I saying it?"
Didn't one of the characters like Fred or someone die?
Yeah, Fred,
Yeah.
and now he's back as the leader of the monsters.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
I might have to read this. I know it's
Yep,
got
and-
trades too, right?
Yep. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I know the Flintstones is on trade.
Yep. And I gotta say, the Snagglepuss was better than any write it had to be.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know it's Mark Russell and his politics are on his sleeve, but in that case, it actually kind of worked.
Well, he wrote the Flintstones too, didn't he?
Well, definitely. But this one was more. It was set during the
Like 50s.
right around the time of the Red Scare, McCarthyism, and but it was playing up the whole Snagglepuss is a gay playwright, but he puts on this big act to make people think he's straight. And then you have Huckleberry Hound, who's also gay. But again, it's actually well written, except you have this whole bit with a Russian sub arc that's clearly a somewhat hidden, if you know to look for it, jab at Trump.
Oh yeah, because they're doing the anti-communist Russia. It was during the Red Scare.
Yeah, so it fit, but you also knew what he was talking about. But at the same time, no, that's a case where, unlike what Mark Waid did with Camp, where I'm like, okay, I can kind of accept it given the era he's writing in.
Is it really a Red Scare if there are actual communists out there, though?
Well, it was actually more playing up the notion of these writers and playwrights and create people in Hollywood who were trying to break the norms and traditions, but because of that, they were being blackballed, blacklisted, and because either associations or just because you're not thinking traditionally, you must be a commie trying to change our way of thinking. It actually played up into that. And then they had this weird backup story with this Bigfoot cop.
Oh, really?
It was stupid.
I just don't want to
Bigfoot Bill, is it?
What? No, not Bigfoot Bill. It's just some female Bigfoot.
Yeah, I did read the first issue of Snagglepuss. I was gonna review it, but I was just like, well, what do I say about this? I don't know.
And again, the very end, it ties into the old cartoon.
It is interesting to see how they tie it back to the source material with these Hanna-Barbera books.
Yeah,
some do it better than others, but there's often little nods and references.
I like just the straight ones, the Future Quest Presents ones.
Oh yeah.
Martin, you just
thing he was involved with, because he was supposed to work on it until he got sick.
Oh,
because he did that initial group shot. That was his idea.
The Future Quest.
Yeah,
that's cool. I keep forgetting about that trade. It's on trade now too.
And then they had another mini series that was Future Quest Presents. That was another 12 issues.
Oh man,
that's what I'm thinking of.
I'm so behind.
Midnight Terry. No, this is in the comics. That comic version where he is gay.
Snagglepuss, yeah.
Yeah, but again, for what it was a case of it's what he is. Yes, it's a big part given the story leading up to it, but he's not flamboyant gay. It's like, yeah, I'm gay, but maybe as being straight. So
what I thought was a little strange is it's not that he's gay, it's that he's making out with a human.
Yeah, but it's a world where humans and these anthropomorphic animals coexist.
Right.
Like
they couldn't have had another panther though. Like, isn't his wife is like a panther?
It's his fake wife who's playing it up. Yeah,
his beard.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the message too. Is whatever you got to expand your mind, but it's just like this guy's a tiger or whatever, and he's making out with some guy, and it's only like the 4th page. Like,
yeah, but again, it kind of worked for what it is.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a market for it. I don't know.
Yeah, again, that's one thing I give Mark Russell is he's one of those who's, again, outspoken about his politics, but he's still able to write it in a way that's both heavy-handed and yet at the same time subtle. Like that with the mayor or president or whoever was elected in the Flintstones comic.
Flintstones, yeah.
Yeah, that one was clear to jab at not only Trump, but Obama and Bush and all the wrongs that president done.
It was just like warmongering presidents.
Yeah. I love the drone strikes with these pterodactyls.
Yeah. Dude, Flintstones is so good. It's no joke. And it is a little political, but it's like not so heavy-handed with it. Like they even tackle gay marriage and stuff, but it's like
I love that
polygamy versus like being married, you know?
Yeah. But again, I love how they call them the non-breeders, and it was kind of.
It's true. They do have like a gay couple. Fred's too cool too. Like they're his friends and everything.
Yep.
I love the way that Fred's written. Like he's just.
Oh yeah.
The man. Like he's the best guy. Like you want to be that guy.
As Mark Russell put it, this is basically redoing the Modern Stories family with more this modern sensibilities.
It's very good.
Yep. Although I'll say this, the weakest thing I think Mark Russell's done was his Lex Luthor Porky Pig story.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I didn't read it, but that cover of it, I was just like, I am not paying
Well,
for that.
That doesn't represent the story at all, that cover, but inside it is so that is probably far the most heavy-handed I think he's done.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Especially because it's like this should have been Elmer Fudd instead of Porky, because basically it's the whole Porky had this business, kind of went under, and then he's now being duped around again by Lex. It felt like this should have been Elmer, not Porky.
Tom King already beat him to it when they all got to pick.
Oh, I love that one shot.
Oh, right. Batman Elmer Fudd, freaking everyone loved it. That's why it's like 30.
Hey, Nerdette, did you read that one?
The one from last year?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just so good.
Yeah, that was really well done.
And you had the artist, Lee Weeks.
Lee Weeks. We love Lee Weeks.
Has he ever done anything bad?
No. He doesn't know how to. Like, he tried to draw something bad and it still came out good.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty frustrated. No, he's such a good artist, though. And the writing on that, like, you know, we've probably all read it, but it was just like, I can't even believe this is a Looney Tunes book. This is so good.
I know, the different humans version of the Looney Tunes.
Like Bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I loved how he handled Silver St. Cloud as the femme fatale. If that's the only time he's ever going to write her, that was perfect. And given how we saw Porky's in Batman 50, makes you wonder, is this all canon?
It is to me.
Yep.
I like to think of Lego Batman as canon too, though.
Which one? Technically, there's 2 Lego Batmans if you go by Lego Dimension.
Oh, I don't know.
Because that was great. The 2 Lego Batman meet and they can't stand each other. You have Troy Baker meeting Will Arnett.
I am partial to the Will Arnett one, I think. Yep.
First try.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. Lego Batman was like the best DC movie of 2017.
And you never would have expected it. It was like, oh, this is going to... In Lego Movie, they got lucky. How are they going to... Oh.
I'm pretty sure it outgrossed Justice League. It was just like, oh, dear. These came out the same year.
Although, let's be honest, one of the key parts of that story is the love story between Joker and Batman.
Yeah, but they got it right.
Yeah.
They actually, for once, got it right.
Yeah, he was a little obsessed. Didn't the Joker have pointy teeth in that one?
Yeah. It was creepy.
It was creepy. That was weird.
And I love how they had so many different, even though they were just cameos, like we finally got Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
Finally, right?
I know.
Imagine he would have been a lot better as Two-Face than
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, who was just trying to play like out Jim Carrey. So they had 2 laughing hyenas through the whole movie.
Yeah, and that was when even Joel Schumacher couldn't stand.
Yeah, it was like, dude, just take it down. Take it down. You know, you're not playing the Joker here.
The one thing I could not stand though about that Two-Face was him constantly flipping the coin till he got what he wanted. That's not what Two-Face does.
Yeah, that's cheating. It's like, why even flip the coin then?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the sad part, that those actors had no fucking clue about the comic books. They were just like, oh, so we're just playing
I think Jim Carrey's Riddler was actually, if you take it the Frank Gorshin route, kind of worked.
If anything, they were just like, we might as well, copy Jack Nicholson. Everybody likes him, right? So that's how it felt to me watching that movie. Like, damn.
Yeah, the Riddler was more tolerable, I felt.
Yep, but as Chris O'Donnell once said, Batman Forever, they felt like they were making a movie, and it shows. Batman Robin, toy commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the look was all right in Batman and Robin. Like,
the city, the whole city was great.
Yeah, and some of the costumes, like Arnold looked pretty cool as Mr. Freeze, but the dialogue they gave him was so cheesy.
Cool party.
Chill. A lot of it's just like one line too, just like chill.
But here's the funny thing, that the moment when he closes his eyes and he has that, they did what the TV show wanted to do, but didn't. The frozen tear.
Yeah,
That
had
was
some good moments.
Yeah. And like I
Uma
say, the
Thurman.
best moment for him was the very end when he's walking up to Ivy saying, "Prepare yourself for a bitter harvest. Winter has come at last." It's like, why couldn't you be like that the whole movie?
Right? That would have worked better. It's this big villain team up. They have all this potential, and it's just silly and campy most of the time. And they made Bane like
an idiot.
Super bad.
Yeah, like a caveman or something. Dumber than a caveman.
I mean, when I first saw that trailer and you see Bane lifting up the bat signal, it's like, holy shit, they got Bane. Then you see, you're like, nope. But I mean, Bane's one of my favorite villains,
right?
And I gotta say, as much as I still have a problem with Dark Knight Rises, Bane, at least up until the last little bit of the movie, was actually really good. Even with his voice, I still thought it felt like Bane until you find out, he's just a lackey.
Right. I think truthfully, that wasn't too bad of representation, even with the voice. But when you find out that he's just kind of Talia's bitch, kind of just ruins it.
Yeah, why do they always want to do that in the movies? Like he's getting bossed around by Uma Thurman in the first one.
Yep. I mean, at least in the other one, it felt more like he had a surrogate father-daughter relationship. That kind of went into, I will do what you ask, my daughter.
It was like a turd. It was like a turd in the wind. Oh, wait, that's a different movie.
Oh, Venom. Oh, Venom can be darn right creepy.
We are layman.
Hey.
Yeah, I've never cared about Eddie Brock, but yeah, Venom is pretty dope, especially Flash Thompson.
Until Bendis again ruined the symbiotes.
May he rest in peace.
The best Venom was in the 90s cartoon when they come back.
Hank Azaria.
Yeah, that was my Spider.
Speaking of cartoons, wasn't Morbius?
plasma.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna mention earlier. I was like, wait, Morbius doesn't suck blood. It takes out the plasma.
I gotta say though, with the case of Carnage, I loved how in that cartoon, Carnage was still a killer, but because they had to write an in-story reason for him to be, holding back.
Yeah,
I actually like that. That's like, wow. And the fact is, they got away with so much despite the censorship. Mm-hmm. Like Kingpin's father. His father was killed right in front of beaten to death right in front of him.
Yeah, it was a good show.
And that's the funny thing about Kingpin. He was voiced by a black guy in the show?
No, but I believe it.
Yeah, you hear that voice, it's like, oh.
Did you know Darth Vader was voiced by a black guy?
When it came with Kingpin, though, they didn't have it in the show.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. And again, same thing applies to Shredder in the 80s cartoon.
That one I did know, because he died not too long ago.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil, right?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I don't want to rule Dimension X. I want to conquer Earth.
Right. Oh, man, they were stuck in Dimension X for ages. It was like 3 seasons.
Yep, and then they finally got out and then sent somewhere else. But that was one thing that's one thing I like, though. The Technodrome was an ominous threat. You're always like, when's it going to pop up again?
Yeah.
For a kid's cartoon, you don't get that often.
That was great.
Hey, okay, since we mentioned Bane. Who's the best interpretation of Bane in media?
Comics.
No, not counting comics. I mean, like in any cartoon or whatever.
Chuck Dixon comics when him and Graham Nolan.
Well, yeah. Although I don't care for that redesign they did for Bane Conquest.
No, don't say it. I love Bane Conquest.
Oh, I love Bane Conquest. I'm just talking about the outfit.
Oh, yeah, I don't care about the outfit. Yeah, well, you don't like that? I mean,
Not with the mouth,
yeah.
but I did
Oh,
like.
actually,
Sorry.
even though I don't really like Bane at all, but I thought he was really well handled in the Arkham games. All the
I
The
agree.
versions,
Origins?
all of them, even the
Yeah.
goofy like Arkham Asylum and well, it was Arkham City actually,
City
right?
and Origins.
Yeah, in Origins he was really cool, but
Oh
I
yeah,
also really liked in Asylum when they like when he was first, in the picture,
Ronnie, and then
What-
they
what-
put him the.
In an asylum.
Yeah, you don't fight him, do you? But he is
No.
there.
Yeah, you
Oh,
fight.
They
you
show
do.
him.
You do. Right
Oh,
before
you do.
Ivy.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you
you do.
don't
Oh,
fight him
I
in
don't.
city though.
No,
He-
yeah, you do. Kind of.
Yeah, he's also in City, but it's like
Yeah,
It's
but
like a
earlier.
side mission.
I would have to say my
Mhm.
favorite interpretation, but not counting the Arkhamverse, would have to be him in Young Justice, where he was voiced by Danny Trejo.
Mhm.
I mean, it's Danny freaking Trejo.
Yeah, I got the Blu-rays. I gotta see those. I gotta see that show again.
And I also
Yes.
thought the anime series Bane wasn't that bad either.
And
I
he's
know.
in Justice League. Was it Doomed?
Doomed.
Doom?
Oh yeah,
Doom.
that one where he buries Batman alive.
Yeah. He teams up with
Yeah.
Vandal Savage and all those guys.
Mhm.
Remember in the animated series when Batman and Superman troll Bane?
Oh,
Superman dresses as Batman.
Batman
Yeah.
was missing, but yeah, I remember that, and I love Robin. He's been working out.
For real.
And then, of course, what we find out happened to Bane and Batman Beyond. Like he'd been used on Venom for so long, now he's in a wheelchair and he's practically comatose.
Mhm.
Poor old Bane.
Yep.
At least he's still alive, though.
Oh, well, if you call what state he's in alive.
I suppose, yeah.
It's like he'd rather be dead, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. Considering, though, all the stuff he's been through, I'm surprised he'd
Yeah,
survive
but that was the Batman Beyond cartoon, obviously. So
Yeah.
I still think the
Oh,
movie
Bane.
version is the best.
Oh, actually, one other horror comic I want to bring up is the Batman Vampire Elseworlds.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Blood. Red
With,
Rain?
What? Red Rain, yeah, Red Rain, Crimson, Bloodstorm, and Crimson Mist.
That's cool.
The whole trilogy. I thought that trilogy was great.
We were talking about Countdown Arena earlier. They got the
yeah.
Red Rain
Yeah, he
Batman.
won.
in that. Yeah, he did win.
And then he died in Countdown.
Yeah. Was the Monarch kill him, or does he die some other way?
Monarch didn't kill him. He basically died. Well, they don't say whether they really died or not, but basically by the end of the stuff with Monarch and all that, whoosh.
Yeah.
But but I did love though the little search for Bray Palmer one shot that had him, and we see him get his own Robin.
Ray Palmer is the key to all of this.
I am Ray Palmer. Welcome to pain.
The Palmer verse. He just names his whole little universe after himself. Seems egotistical.
Yeah.
You know who we haven't really mentioned? Mostly because they're considered, sci-fi. I mean, there's still a lot of horror, elements to Predator and Aliens, man.
Ooh.
For sure.
And I also remember, well, I own the Dark Horse and DC, complete collection trades. I especially love the Batman versus Predator, the first one that was written by Dave Gibbons.
Andy and Adam Kubert.
Yeah, that was like very it's a really dark story, especially with the colors and all that. There's a lot of violence. I just thought it's a really solid story, and I did read the whole DC and Aliens collection, especially the Batman and Aliens.
Yeah, that one was the first one was very, very intense.
Yeah, with Bernie Wrightson with the art, man. I thought it was a really good story.
And that was Ron Mars who wrote it.
Yeah, around Mars. I
And
mean,
I love
yeah.
you actually have what we see, what you see what happens if an alien face hugged a crocodile.
Yeah.
And oh, trust me, it is a monster.
Like, yeah. That reveal, I was like, holy shit, that 2-page spread. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then to the point where they had to come up with an alternate variation of it in the sequel, where it was basically they were having these aliens that were hybrids mixed in with Batman villains. In that case, it was Killer Croc mixed in with an alien. But yeah, you actually had a Joker
Yeah.
alien, a Poison
Oh,
Ivy
yeah.
alien.
That story wasn't really good, but yeah, it was
wasn't.
really it was fun though. It was a lot of fun to read.
Yeah, it was like one of those like, what the hell?
Didn't they do a
Yeah.
Superman one too?
Superman Predator, Superman Aliens, Superman Aliens 2, where they were on New Genesis
I like the Batman and Superman versus aliens, but
and Predators.
yeah, the best part about that one was the art with the Ariel Olivetti.
Yeah, but the story made absolutely no sense.
Oh fuck no! I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, because you had these ancient predators that were like really ancient, like long ago they were on Earth, and they're found. Batman, Superman, Lois show up there, and at one point, they make it seem like they convinced them that Superman was a sun god, and they need their help to just get him off the planet. So Superman, this is at the point when he had the Fortress of Solitude as a tesseract, so he could actually pick it up in this big ball and bring it over to the Arctic over there. And they were basically turned out, nope, they were fooling. Somehow an alien and its queen were still on the Predator ship. It gets awakened, all hell breaks loose. Superman just sends them all into space in cryosleep. It was pointless.
Yeah, it's always really sad when you have like such incredible art, and then the story is like, what the fuck?
Although I love Ariel Olivetti on the Space Ghost miniseries.
Yeah, everything is done with like Future Quest, Space Ghost, the Hanna-Barbera. All the stuff is done at Marvel. Like I try to collect all his work for sure.
I mean, now his coloring though, it's always been a little off for me.
Yeah, it kind of is. I don't know.
It's like kind of a little washed out.
That works on Space Ghost.
Oh yeah, in Space Ghost it worked out great, and I wish they got the other two miniseries that Joe Kelly had planned.
Oh yeah,
they kind of launched too much Hanna-Barbera stuff at once, maybe because.
Oh no, this is back then. That was the one time they launched it, but it was too dark.
Oh.
Yeah, it was way too. You had his wife get killed and his unborn child just because he didn't agree to be a corrupt space cop and all that. He finds the kids and he's completely addicted to them.
Yeah, I love that.
One thing I do love though is they had to be Zorak is a hive mind, and when the leader Zorak gets killed, another Zorak becomes the new leader.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually pretty clever.
Oh, Zorak makes me want to watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Remember the time he had Gary Owens as a guest, and he just blasts him?
Oh yeah, he doesn't even talk to him. Probably.
Well, no. Or he tries to talk to him, or Owens tries to talk, and he's just completely indifferent.
Well, I'm back. I got kicked out, and so did Nerdette.
No.
Oh
no,
not again.
Not again.
Google hates us.
I
seem to be about fine. Aliens. Yeah, you're stable for some reason. Did you read that Aliens Vampirella crossover?
Nope. The only Vampirella crossover I ever read was the Catwoman Vampirella with Jim Ballant art.
And Chuck Dixon wrote it, right?
I think he did, yeah. But just the fact you had Jim Ballant drawing both of them, it's like, duh.
Mm-hmm. It's the purple Catwoman jumpsuit
with the boob socks and all that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, Chuck Dixon wrote that one. That's that's awesome. But yeah, the Aliens one definitely had a lot of horror elements too.
Yep.
Yeah. Vampirella is also like, well, she's a vampire, so it's also related, to horror.
Yeah.
I have a hardcover book with I used to confuse Garcia Lopez with Jose Gonzalez, and there's another artist who used to like do art for Vampirilla magazine and a whole other
Oh.
stuff.
Mhm.
And this art is gorgeous too, but I don't know why I confused them.
Hey, here's an interesting two-part Elseworld story. There were two separate stories: Batman, Two-Face, and the Superman monster. They're basically both retellings of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, with Batman and Batman, and then Superman, the Frankenstein monster. Thing is, though, in the case of the Batman one, it actually has Batman is Jekyll, Joker is Hyde.
Yeah.
And at the very end, Two-Face is the key part of the story. He, at the very end, is given a cure that can fix his duality, which was part of the reason why Bruce was doing it. And at the very end, he flips the coin. Last shot we see a Batman running around, but underneath we see a one half face good, one half face scarred.
Yeah.
And then the Joker and the Superman and monster one, Superman is Frankenstein's monster, because it turns out when he crashed on Earth, Lex found him. There was nothing but it was the birthing matrix from the John Byrne Superman and stuff, but inside was just the skeleton of infant Kal-El. He died on the journey.
That's horrible, huh?
Yep, but he was able to use the genetic makeup in the birthing matrix to eventually, and the technology to create the Superman monster.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah, but when you see it, Lex is so fits with Frankenstein as far as ego and all that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of Frankenstein, there's a Frankenstein character, right, on DC?
Yep.
I always
And
forget
it-
about him because I just the first time I heard about him was in New 52. I know Jeff Lemire did like a run.
It was in
Creature
Morrison created him.
Commandos. Right? Creature Commandos.
Yeah. But yeah, it was
He-
Morrison that created him during his Seven Soldiers of Victory.
Nice. I have that Seven Soldiers of Victory omnibus,
I thought
but
he
I
was
haven't
older
opened it
than
yet.
I know. I'm talking about that version of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And,
Doesn't he get his
uh,
arms ripped off by Black Adam, or is that someone? No, I think that was Frankenstein.
we're talking about Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, right. I think he gets his
Yeah.
arms ripped off by Black Adam.
But
at one
he just put a new arm back on.
He'll be okay.
But yeah,
Mhm.
I know. Okay, it was him taking what was done in Detective Comics 135. So of course he's dating back to all the way that far. But he was hardly ever used until Morrison brought him in.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yep. And then Tomasi used him recently in during his Superman run.
Oh yeah, Tomasi is just. Oh man, I love Tomasi, dude.
Yep. Hey, he wrote the Death of Superman screenplay for the animated version.
Yeah.
He's not writing the Return of, though.
Yeah.
Although the only thing I never liked about was Frankenstein was when he was in Future's End and he had Black Canary stitched onto his chest.
That's weird.
Man, Future Sand is a masterpiece, Just kidding.
I'll say this though, it's still better than Countdown in many ways.
Yeah.
Poor
It's
old
cool.
Actually, a lot of people talk shit about Convergence, but I actually liked it.
I love Convergence.
Yeah, me too. It's just nuts. Especially like I know it has some very good what are they called? The shit. I can't believe I forgot the word for it. What DC fans knows what I'm talking about. The side stories, what are they called? Yeah, there you go. I couldn't remember the damn word, man. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
mini. Yeah, the Titans are awesome.
Oh yeah,
they're doing those. I've got quite a few.
I heard that Shazam one is really good. That's the one I wanted.
Yep.
It is.
You have the Shadow of the Bat, which has Azrael back, written by Larry Hama.
Yep, I have that.
Oh, nice.
The Shazam one's really good, though. It is like an old Captain Marvel book. It really feels like it. It's got Mr. Mind and like Mr. Atom, and
I still love the Multiversity Shazam one shot.
I don't think I've read that.
Oh, that one was so good. It was all part of that whole multiversity stuff that Morrison was doing. But this case was, It was Cameron Stewart on artwork, and it was basically Savannah's teaming up with all these other versions of himself to pull in all of their what was that metal called again? Um,
Metal?
yeah, you know what I'm talking about? That metal that was in Shazam.
I don't know.
DM, I think.
Yeah, somebody needs to fix their internet. Damn.
Yeah, it
No,
sucks.
Nerdette got no.
And Nerdette, she might not come back. I don't know. She hasn't even said anything. Poor Nerdette.
Yeah, she's always been in the quiet. I think she said she's always been on the quiet side.
Yeah, it's hard to get her to talk as much.
And I'm kind of dominating again. I'm sorry.
That's all good. It happens.
Have I
Damn
ever
it, Skeletor. Damn it, Skeletor.
Skeletor, why? We'll have He-Man on next time. You can debate him.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
not
right.
getting vain this day.
Have you
I
seen
love
that?
that moment, that bit when he kills that one subordinate.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah. Because seriously, Franklin Joe, you could tell he was having a blast.
Hey, she made it back.
Well,
I'm back.
Sucks
Third
you keep
time's a
getting
charm.
dropped.
I know. I don't know why. I'm assuming because I'm using my phone, but I don't know.
I think I'm stable because I'm using my computer and I got solid internet.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're here now. So you checked out that Swamp Thing Halloween comic, right? The new one? Nerdette?
Yes, I did. I didn't get to check out much of it though. I just got it yesterday, but yeah, the first story was good. That's literally all I got to.
So it's a bunch of short stories?
Yeah, it's quite a few, but it's there's some older, looks like to be some older ones in the back. I could be wrong, but I know the next one I'm going on to is got Blue Devil dressed up as Batman. So that should be good.
Blue
Oh, wow.
Devil. There's a character.
Yeah.
There are reprints from the older DC Halloween anthologies in the last like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any of you guys read that winter special?
The Swamp Thing winter special?
Yeah.
Was it by Tom King, or he just did part of it?
Tom King did most of it, and there was the story at the end that was at least plotted by Len Wein, but he never had a chance to do the dialogue, but they decided, oh, let's just do it all without words.
Yeah, it was like in his memory, too, the book, right?
Yeah. That's like the final issue of the Commandi Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great book.
The new one?
Yeah, the challenge. No, I'm talking about the Commandi Challenge. You know, the one where each different creative team for each issue taking the ball they wanted to run with whatever cliffhanger they end on. And basically their rule, they only have one rule. It has to be a reason, something that somehow they can get away out of it. So in other words, you couldn't say kill them and then put them into a can of separate cans of meat or whatever, because there's no way coming out of that.
Yeah.
The most extreme they got though was someone had opened up his chest and removed his organs.
Really? Yeah, that'd be hard to come back from.
No, they had a way to come back.
Huh.
But that was the most extreme they got. That's
pretty extreme.
Yeah, extreme like the 90s, baby.
The good old days.
Yep.
Even in the mid 2000s, they were doing some pretty edgy stuff still.
Well, I've been mentioning this on my Twitter account. I've been going through the Heroes Return omnibuses I have. I have pretty much all of them. The both Avengers omnibuses, Kurt Busiek's run, Mark Waid's Captain America run, Busiek on Iron Man, and Jurgens on Thor. The funny thing is, he had the longest run. His Thor run lasted well past Avengers.
Oh yeah, I got all of those too. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Thor one I haven't read them, but yeah, the Busiek Avengers is awesome. But I do have the Thor by Jurgens. I think it's even longer than his Superman, right? I could be wrong.
No, not longer than his Superman. Definitely not. Superman he was on for practically a decade.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Thor he was up to 70 something, 75, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really like that run, but I thought it's
I thought it
pretty
was very
damn cool.
clever him becoming the Lord of Asgard.
He became the Rune King, though, right? On that
Yeah,
run.
he became the ruler after Odin died,
Yeah.
and he had Asgard over Earth. In fact, the funny thing is, a lot of the stuff you've been seeing Jason Aaron's run, Jurgens did first.
Well, for
Like,
sure. Oh, and
he,
but then you also have Walter Simonson's run, which was
oh
like a
yeah, I have that on
masterpiece.
the list too.
Yes, sir. Me too.
Anyone else here, or is it just
Mm,
you know what we're talking about?
Talking about Marvel, I know
We're
Dan
talking
Jurgen.
about Thor. Oh, but Neil Gaiman's though. Neil Gaiman's mythology. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Some
I
spooky
actually
stuff
read it
there.
for sure.
Hey, on Chevron, have you read any of those Marvel stuff?
not from like that mid to late '90s period. No.
I say though that was probably the last good peak Marvel ever had was the Heroes Return.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a lot of pushback on that.
No, I said Heroes Return, not Heroes Reborn. The post Heroes
I
Reborn.
know. Yeah, I know. With the Liefeld drawing of Captain America and all that.
No, that was Heroes Reborn. I'm talking about Heroes Return, the stuff that happened afterwards when they brought him back.
Yeah.
So like you have Busiek Perez on Avengers and all that.
Oh, that run. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about Reborn. Although I'll be honest, if there was ever an omnibus of all that, I'd buy it.
Oh, I have seen the art where George Perez was when he was doing the Avengers.
Oh yeah, that was that's the one where they had the Ultron initiative or whatever imperative where he killed off a whole town.
Whoa.
Gotta love George Perez.
No.
Yep, and then he took all the corpses and made it look like his face.
Damn.
Yeah.
But did they kill his whole city and then made Hal Jordan go crazy and kill all the Green Lanterns? That's what I want to know.
Oh, Coastal City, never forget.
That last arc,
Parallax.
anyone read that last arc of Green Lanterns Jurgens did?
I
Yes,
read
yes.
some of it where Cyborg Superman took over the core.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the first time Jurgens ever wrote Cyborg Superman as a Green Lantern villain, and it was good.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Especially he shows up in Coast City. You see this mother and kid looking up and think like, "Oh, it's Green Lantern" for a second because he's in the sunlight. And what does he do? He kills them. He blasts them.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to bring
Yeah,
it.
man.
Archie was brought up a while back. One thing I got to ask: did you guys ever hear about the Archie versus Sharknado?
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh my god, no.
Yes, there's a one shot written by the guy who wrote Sharknado.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible.
It's just as goofy as everything else they've been doing lately. But it's actually done with one of their regular artists, Dan Parent. And it's, yeah, there's a lot of blood and all that, but at the same time, it's just crazy. But the funny part is you have Sabrina showing up with Salem saying, like, let me get rid of these sharks for you. Next thing you know, a bunch of sharks jump up and eat Salem and eat her arms off and then eat her. It's
Oh
like,
my god.
she's not fixing anything.
Good old Archie comics.
yeah, Archie's gotten pretty dark.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about Archie versus Predator?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was it was effed up.
Been a lot of
In fact,
crossovers with
In fact,
Archie.
Archie didn't survive. It's the girls that survive. But even then, it's kind of an version that shows Betty's a bit crazy in that story. Hey, Veronica's the sane one. What does that tell you?
I just came back from getting dropped.
No.
Yeah, I don't know why he keeps doing that.
Oh boy.
I heard wasn't there like an Archie versus like Punisher story? I heard that one was pretty lame.
That was where they meet the Punisher.
Oh,
I heard it wasn't good at all.
Oh, no, it was actually. It's considered one of those. It's stupid. It should never have happened, but when it did, it's like it actually works. And I think what helps is that they had a great. You had John Buscema draw all the Punisher artwork, and then Stan Goldberg draw all of the the Archie stuff together, and it's a case where this guy they take a story concept that's usually done in Archie, which is some guy who looks like Archie shows up in Riverdale and causes some havoc. In this case, it's the guy the Punisher is hunting. But the thing is, Punisher, he sees how pure Riverdale is, and he's like, I'm going to make sure nothing bad happens to this place. At the end, yeah, they stop him, and he doesn't kill a person, a soul.
Nice.
Oh, that's. Is it the sort of thing he kills the guy once they're outside the Riverdale city limits or something?
Nope.
Oh wow.
he turns. Well, the funny thing with the guy is he gets hooked onto the shield balloon and just goes right up way up high. So he could have died if you wanted to be. He died, but you know.
Well, now they could do a sequel with Gardennis's Punisher.
Actually, the sequel was going to have Wolverine going after Jughead. There was a joke saying, Cerebro tells me you're the most dangerous mutant alive. If that's the case, schnick, I'm going to have to find out what you're made of, bub.
He's the best it always does.
Then it goes, the end, what do you think? No, you tell us. You tell us. But I think the thing that helped out was this was during Tom DeFalco's reign as editor-in-chief at Marvel, and he got his start at Archie.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, yeah, I think most of them did, didn't they? Well, I guess. I'll admit the Archie thing, that just seems like kind of an anachronism to me. I don't really understand why it's lasted as long as it has. And so many other kind of stuff like that fell by the wayside.
I think it's because it was in the
checkout, right?
Yeah, that's what kept it going. It was one of those few books that could be a checkout, and kids would see it and be like, "Oh, give me," or parents would buy it to shut the kids up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's accessibility more than anything.
Yeah.
So we always talk about the comic book industry being in decline. Well, they just aren't on news stands and spinner racks and grocery stores and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
They need to get back on the checkout lanes and in 7-Elevens and stuff.
Yep.
If they want to see triple-digit sales and even better.
Hey, I'm going to drop out for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I know every once in a while they experiment with something like that. I know because one of the very first comics I ever read, I was 15, and I went into the 7-Eleven and they had an issue of Ghost Rider on the stands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This was, I think, Daniel Way and Mark Teixeira, which didn't mean anything to me at the time, of course.
That's some sexy stuff.
Yeah, they hold up really well.
It's kind of funny how Ghost Rider always. It's like it seems like every decade he has very weak stories, but every now and then you get a really good writer, and he manages to produce some really good stories for sure.
He's one of those characters that just perennially is always on the verge of being kind of a big deal, but just on the strength of his visuals alone with something else. But
yeah, it's like an awesome tattoo, but not.
I know, there's an old, even in his older issues, he would do weird things. There's an issue where he saves a bunch of dolphins.
Really?
Yeah, that's the whole issue. Is Ghost Rider saves a bunch of dolphins.
Lobo would be proud. That's all I gotta say. I hope you guys know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor
I never did watch.
taking any ambiguity out of that.
Yeah, but what about Colin Buns? I don't even know what they were thinking in New 52 when they made that Lobo run.
Oh, where he had the short hair and was trying to be respectable and stuff.
Oh, New 52.
Yeah.
So much hit and miss.
Even nowadays.
Oh, but speaking of New 52 and hit and misses, definitely one of their best titles was Swamp Thing, and I honestly don't know why they just gave up on it. Well, other than the low sales, of course. You had Scott Snyder and then Jeff, Lemire or Lemire. They did
Yeah.
some amazing stuff there with Swamp Thing. Oh, and then Charles Lemire. Lemire did Animal Man, sorry. But
Oh, yeah, Charles
uh
Soule.
yeah, Charles Soule, there you go. That's what I
That's
was
right.
thinking of.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have some of those New 52 swap things. They weren't too bad.
I only
Yeah.
collected Snyder's run on that.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Charles Soule run too.
Oh, I know.
Sure.
I wish I got it, but I thought, oh, Snyder's leaving. Might as well just stop off here. Oh,
I've been trying to get the Swamp Thing Halloween, like the 100-page special, but I went to the two Walmarts and they don't have any more here. I don't know why.
That sucks. People are
Yeah,
having a hard
but
time getting those.
yeah. One of the big reasons I want to get it is for the Azzarello and Greg Capullo, right? Story or whatever.
Yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah, that's why I want to get it. Oh, and also I missed my chance to buy the winter one that Robert was talking about.
Yeah, I
But I
remember
don't know
that.
if they're gonna collect it in trade. That's the thing. It might be
I
on the next Rebirth holiday, whatever.
It's already like 80 pages, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they do include it on that trade, the Rebirth holiday sequel, whatever it's called,
Hmm. Does that
something
collect
like
that
that.
kind of stuff?
I do think so because Tom King's name is in it on like the description when you look at it on Amazon and whatever Penguin Publishing, whatever websites.
That's probably what it's for, then. I mean, it's probably got that in there.
I hope so because I'm gonna be mad if I miss my chance to get
Looked like it sold pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I almost didn't get that creepy cavalcade comic. I almost didn't get it because we only got one in at my comic book store, and they made it clear they weren't going to get any more.
That's crazy.
That was a
Well,
solid little
they
collection.
were saying is that was going to be the one thing they weren't going to reprint it.
Oh,
Oh,
Damn.
what'd you
I
guys
was
think of that?
I was glad to be able to buy for $4, baby. That's all I gotta say.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you
I know
said-
Nerdette. I know she you read all of it, right?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, but there was a couple of stories that weren't great, but then there was like that Zatanna one, which was really cute. And even like the Batman one, I feel like they could have went on. I mean, I know it was just a collection
Oh,
of stories, but they could have went on with some of those or the Black Lightning and Katana one. Like some of those
yeah.
stories were so good I could have kept reading, but that one was Brian Edward Hill and Dexter Soy. I liked them anyways, and I don't know, maybe there was some of those that you could have really got into. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, the
Mm-hmm.
Superman one kind of surprised me because it was Mags Versace. I mean, it wasn't great, but at the same time, I did like how she tied into back to Morrison's Action Comic stuff with that guy from the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, the
And
first prisoner.
you
Yeah.
know, I didn't realize that was even by Mags until after
Oh,
I did it, and I didn't. That was my least favorite out of all of those. I thought that one was kind of half-assed.
Well, for the most part, I thought Superman, like the idea of him having nightmares, was interesting. And again, once you reveal it with the first prisoner of the Phantom Zone, whatever his name is,
Mm-hmm.
who
Mhm.
they
Yeah, I
actually
forget.
during Batman Superman, that title, they try to set up as he was Superman's Joker.
Oh.
Oh, really? I didn't get that at all.
Well, that's what
Mm.
they tried to set up beforehand. Obviously, that's not what Mags was going with, but the fact that Mags remembered to actually use that guy instead of making up some new character speaks a lot. That's all I'll
Well,
say.
still, and then again with Lois keeps saying, "Oh, it's just sleep paralysis," and I don't know. That one in the Green Lantern or not Green Lantern, the Green Arrow one were the only two I really didn't care for that much.
Oh
I thought
yeah, the Green Lantern And then the fucking Damien one.
Sorry.
Oh, that Damien one was so cute. That was the only. I don't even like Damien as Robin.
It was just boring to me.
What?
I'm gonna. It's a solid story, but I guess the art for it just kind of. I
The
don't
art
know.
was good. You're crazy.
I think that's why I didn't like the Green Lantern one either.
Yeah, the
But it
art
just
on that
depends.
one's
Like
weird.
it just depends on the artist, to be honest.
The Guy
What was the one?
Gardner one.
What was the one that Gabrielle Hadman had done? Oh, there goes Nerdette again.
No.
Gone again.
Yeah,
That
but
sucks.
wait, did Martin go too?
Yeah, they both dropped again.
Yeah, but which one did Gabrielle Hardman do the artwork? Was that the Etrigan one? I think.
I don't know.
Oh, there they are.
Oh my God! Why does this keep happening?
I don't know. That sucks.
But
Usually
and
not so bad.
hey, Nerdette, quick question: was the that was Etrigan was the one that Gabrielle Hardman had done the artwork for, right?
Yeah, and it was really good. The one with Jason Blood.
Yep, but
That one
funny
was my favorite.
right. Funny though, he's the
Oh
one
yeah,
who
that was
wrote
good.
and he wrote and drew the with his wife, I believe, the Green Lantern Earth One graphic novel.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I'm waiting for the
I
trade.
love that Earth One. I just wish they would finally decide: do these things coexist or don't they? They keep going back and forth.
Should have
That
just named
story was
that.
really good, though. It was. I've never been into Jason Blood, and I was like, I kind of want to look this up more. It was only 6 or 7 pages long, and it was really well done. That art style was so good.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
I thought the
Oh,
Solomon Grundy story looked pretty good, though. I like him as a character, though, especially if he's like not a bad guy for a change. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
with the
yeah.
Professor Pig thing.
Hey,
That was really cool.
speaking of which, DC fan, did you ever read the Solomon Grundy mini that Scott Collins had did that tied up in Superman Batman?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's the one where he actually is made human again, and he has to go about to try and cure himself before the end of the week. And you have stuff like him becoming buddy with Bizarro, and
Yeah.
but at the very end, it was all for nothing. Sierra's Gold was sent to hell, and then at the very end, a Black Lantern ring resurrects the husk of Solomon Grundy, which then leads into the Superman Batman, where you have Bizarro and Man-Bat teaming up to stop him.
I remember when he had a Black Lantern ring.
Yeah, but this was all written and drawn by Scott Collins.
Yeah.
After a prelude that started with Jeff Johns co-writing it.
That's good stuff. Old Solomon Grundy. Yeah, the cavalcade looked pretty good.
Yeah, especially that Batman art, man. By Federici, whatever his name is. It's so good.
Oh yeah, and
That
with
Batman story?
The artist, Federici,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
his name is.
Oh my God, yeah, that was really good.
And I love Mark Buckingham on the Zatanna story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool.
Oh, I guess I have to get it now.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Missed out on it. Now I feel
Yeah.
Oh.
the place I moved to, the new town, the local comic shop. I mean, they do what they can, but comics aren't their main source of income, so there's not much. So there's always so much they can do, fortunately. But
Get it
That
digitally.
sucks.
yeah, I guess I'll have to. Don't like
Yeah.
it.
It's not ideal.
Hey, out of curiosity, you got anyone here aware of the show web series Ruby by Rooster Teeth?
I kind of know about it.
Well, get this. Turns out DC Comics is actually working a deal with them, and they're going to be doing comics based off of Ruby and their upcoming series Genlock.
Huh.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Cool.
Yep. I mean, it's a good series, and it's really good. I mean, it's had its stumbles here and there, but new volume has just started up of the show, and it's really good. I mean, it was #2 trending on YouTube recently.
Jeez.
Oh.
Well,
Well, and that was just the intro for the new season.
ooh.
Yep.
Well,
Really
I'll
watched
probably wrap things up before people get dropped again. If you guys had any closing thoughts.
Yes, I just have one question. What was the first horror movie that any of you remember seeing as a child, and it freaked the hell out of you?
Child's Play 2. Saw it. I flipped to the channels. I just saw the ending bit of it, but it haunted me for a good length of time. Just like the bit of the one security guard going in, in the toy factory, gets on the rails, gets knocked over, and then these eyeballs get put down. That's what they go into dolls, but they go into his own eyeballs. Oh boy, we lost him again.
Oh, damn.
That's
But
what
yeah,
I was trying to avoid.
But yeah, that haunted me for a good length of time.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I was a kid when it happened, when I saw it.
Surprise!
I think Martin and I think Nerdette should get hers out next, just in case.
Yeah, to him get dropped again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so easy. I thought the Blair Witch Project was real, and I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I slept with my TV on for like a full 6 months, and
Damn.
I swear that's where my insomnia started because I would like hide under my covers. Oh my God, I still haven't seen the movie again to this day because it terrifies me.
The first time I ever saw, sorry, I was just saying was the first thing I ever saw was Blair Witch was the Scooby Doo spoof they did.
I never seen that, but the real thing, it was shot like it was real. It was terrifying when you're like a little kid. You'd think this like Blair Witch thing's gonna come get you in a tent, and oh my God, I have nightmares all over again.
I had more of an issue with just the shaky cam. For me, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, but that's what made it seem so real.
Oh yeah, I mean I get that, but I just wasn't able to really watch it, so it detracted from the scariness.
Oh my God, it was terrifying. You're crazy.
I don't doubt it.
Well, Martin, since you also could give in dropped what your own question, what was yours?
It was either Child's Play 2 or Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. I think it was the first Freddy one, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Scared the shit out of me. And I was like maybe like 3 or 4. No, I was like 5 maybe when I saw that one. I remember it.
Now, if you want a movie that will cause you to have insomnia, that'd probably be it.
Why were you watching Nightmare on Elm Street at 3 and 4 and 5? Holy crap. No wonder you had nightmares.
No. Yeah, I was probably like 5 years old. Yeah.
Well, I was like I was like 9 when I saw that Child's Play. But again, I was up late. My dad was up late. Flipped through the channels. There it was. Ah!
Yeah.
It took until I finally saw Bride of Chucky and seeing the more comedy version of how they handle the character, and I'm like, okay, not so bad. But I'll say that the first time I ever jumped literally at a movie was Alien. Was the bit when you have Dallas in the vent and the alien's like, no, not that way. I literally fell out of my chair. And I was watching
Game over, man. Game over.
Wrong movie.
No, I'm just saying though. Yeah, but the first horror movie that I remember clearly, like seeing all the way through, I was like not even 7 years old. This Hellraiser, and that one freaked the shit out of me too.
Oh my God! Hellraiser is 7.
Tear your soul apart.
I mean, the only other thing I ever saw was I always saw the TV edit of Terminator growing up, but I loved it. Every time it was on TV, I'd put on a robe, acting like I was Kyle, going downstairs and just watch it. And like I said, with the TV edit, that was the only thing my parents would let me watch, but that was the first R-rated I ever fully saw.
Terminator's always good.
What about DC and Unranked? What are your movies?
Let's probably think of The Exorcist.
Damn.
Yeah, that holds up surprisingly well.
Yeah, especially when she's going down the stairs, like backwards and upside down and whatnot, like on all fours. That really freaked
Oh.
me out. That particular part stuck with me for a long time.
You wanna F me?
Right? It was a creepy movie.
What about you, Unranked?
I know Nightmare on Elm Street kind of freaked me out, but then a couple years later, I saw Freddy vs. Jason, and that movie is like impossibly cheesy. But for some reason, when I was a kid and I saw it, this was the first time I'd ever seen a Friday the 13th movie, and Jason just really freaked me out. Like just the way that he was just this unstoppable force of just death and destruction. Whatever reason, as a kid, that really freaked me out.
Out of curiosity, how old are you, Unranked?
28. So
All
I
right,
guess I
well-
was about 13 or so when I saw that.
I was
All
going
right.
to say, didn't that come out in like 2003 or something?
That's what I was asking.
Damn.
Gave yourself
That's
away. Let the
Yeah.
teenager in. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No. That's cool.
I saw a lot of like weird.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Oh,
Agreed.
appreciate it. The survivors, two of you guys that made it to the end.
Yep. Oh,
There's Martin again.
Nerdette probably won't be. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to call it good while everyone's still here.
see ya.
Cool. Yeah.
I think Frugal, he bailed early. He was thinking ahead.
He was the smart one.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is. All right. Well, thank
Lots
you guys
of
for
good
being-
scary movies for sure.
Yep. See ya.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
And thanks everyone for watching.